You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.
Good morning, cricket fans of America, or good afternoon, I suppose, to those watching from the Central and Eastern time zones, wherever you are, whenever you are. This is your game, the 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championships presented by Lakshmi House of Spices. And we're back for day 2 from Morgan Hill, and we're going to start with a California love matchup, Diego to the Bay, the San Diego Surf Riders and the Silicon Valley Strikers. The playoff battle in the West here beginning to clarify. San Diego's 77-run loss yesterday to the East Bay Blazers has just about turned out the lights on their 2023 postseason hopes. There are scenarios that exist if you look here at the crowded bottom of the standings that end up with all 4 non-Bay Area teams tied on 8 points. But those scenarios do nothing to help Surf Riders with their net run rate. Today will be a day to try to set a new franchise record for wins in a season and to put a finger in the eye of their brothers in Sky Blue. As for the Strikers, their 9-wicket win yesterday, quickly chased down over the SoCal Lashings, helped them try to keep pace with East Bay Blazers both in points and in net run rate. A win today would ensure that they go into next weekend's pair of battles with a playoff berth in their back pocket and with a chance to upend the Blazers and qualify directly to the Super 8s in Dallas, Texas as division champion. We're going to take a look here at the teams that are being marched out. You see the men in Sky Blue, the Silicon Valley Strikers, are going to be put out to bowl first. San Diego Surf Riders won the toss, have elected to bat. They are 3-2 this season when batting first. No changes in Pranay Suri's 11. Why mess with what worked so very well yesterday against SoCal Lashings? As for the San Diego Surf Riders, as we said, 3-2 when batting first. They make one alteration to their 11, and it's going to be Burhan Barmal coming in place of KK Vemery. Barmal has done a little bit of bowling this season and has had one appearance in one of the games against the SoCal Lashings earlier as we get a look at Greg Hayes' 11. It will be at the crease to begin with, apparently. Looks like Nisarg Patel at one end. And I would expect Greg Hay at the other, although can't tell if there are no numbers on his jersey or just simply a very skinny one as he now turns his back to us. Indeed, skinny impact font, number 7. So it is Hay and Nisarg Patel, same opening partnership from yesterday's match at the center. First ball, as nearly always here for Silicon Valley Strikers, handed to Saurabh Netravalkar. Netravalkar yesterday with a bit of an underwhelming day by his standards, but still pretty darn good. The 31-year-old Mumbai native and USA international went 1 for 26 yesterday, did claim the late wicket of Abhimanyu Rajap to end just about any hopes of putting up a defendable total for SoCal Lashings. He came into the weekend 7th in minor league cricket in wickets, 12th in economy, a 4.67 runs per over number. It's going to be Nisarg Patel to face the first delivery of today's match, and Saurabh Netravalkar on his way in with it. We are underway with one that maybe gives us a sense of some demons in that pitch. Lahiru Milantha, much as was the case yesterday, having to get down low, get down on the ground to deal with the motion on a Saurabh Netravalkar delivery. That one did look like it stayed a little low, and both Greg Hay and Nisarg Patel in response tap at the pitch to get a sense of how hard is this surface going to be? What can we expect in the way of bounce? Is it going to be just skiddy the whole day, or is it going to be variable and play havoc with them? Patel makes contact with that one, but no run on at this point. Nisarg had 10 runs yesterday off 15 deliveries, one of only a handful of double-digit scores for San Diego, who were absolutely bossed by East Bay Blazers' spin attack yesterday. Did good work themselves with the ball in hand to restrict the East Bay total, as the Blazers looked like they were well and truly on their way at the halfway point of the innings. That one may have taken a touch. Nothing given here, a brief half-hearted appeal. Melantha does well to make sure that that one stays in his gloves and doesn't find its way towards the other end of the ground here. Sarb Netravalkar working from the Barrett Avenue end, southern end of the ground, and my apologies, yesterday I had those two swapped. Thought I remembered from 2022. But it is Barrett Avenue in the background of our pitch camera shot. San Pedro end, where Nisarg Patel stands, hoping to get off the mark. Taps that one to the offside, and it will be a quick single. Going to need a little bit in the way of intent. Can't afford to get tied up at one end the way they did so frequently in yesterday's match. After restricting that total, giving themselves 158 to chase. Admittedly, a bigger total than they'd scored all season to this point, but on a wicket that seemed to be conducive to batting. They came out and had another outage from their openers. It's been a story all season. The man here on strike, Greg Hay, was retired for 3 runs off 11. His first real attempt to drive one popped up in the air off Sanjay Krishnamurthy and caught by David White. And the dominoes in yellow just kept falling. Hay will tap that one back up the pitch. Nice day here in Morgan Hill. Cool morning, starting with 64-degree temperatures, or 18 Celsius if you prefer. None of the cloud cover or threat of rain that we had last time, which I'm sure the man at the controls, Vishal Tiku, is very excited about. Got a great deal more exercise in the production of a cricket match than I'm sure he's accustomed to. Running about and trying to protect electronics from rain. They don't play well together. Beautiful last delivery of the over from Sarab Netravalkar. That one coming up near the splice of Greg Hay's bat. Sarab threatening right out of the gate, just a single from Nisarg Patel in the course of over number 1. 1 for no loss.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले। हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Double barrel left arm pace for the Silicon Valley Strikers, as it has been for most of the last 2 seasons. Last year, always some combination of Netravalkar, Reefer, and Kulvinder Singh up front. Reefer now in the CPL. Kulvinder Singh, we found out this week, has transferred to the Golden State Grizzlies, so perhaps we'll get a look at him either in Santa Clara or Davis, or at least initially here against the East Bay Blazers on Friday. But now it's Colin Archibald coming from the San Pedro end. That one tapped back past the bowler. Fielders on the circle, attentive to it, and another dot ball here. Just a single run from the first 7 deliveries. Archibald entered play this weekend with a 10.13 economy. Gave up 21 runs yesterday in 3 overs of work. That one is slapped right back past Archibald, but again, quick stuff inside the circle. Shahan Jayasuriya trying to pick off Greg Hay. Direct hit might have been trouble. It's the sort of thing that can start to happen as you begin to feel the pressure early on, even in the second over of getting stuck at one end of the crease, or of the pitch rather. Might take rash swings, also might start to try to take rash singles. Brilliant length ball there, just barely buzzing over the top of off stump. With Nisarg Patel on strike, your deep men are at backward square and at third man. An unchanged 11 here for Silicon Valley strikers, who have found Morgan Hill to their liking over the years. 14-4 their record here. Patel firing that one again. It's going to be Jayasurya cutting it off, but this time not able to make the clean pickup. They will scamper another single. Archibald so far, though, keeping it tight. Yesterday, for the most part, the SoCal teams did not find the pitch here at Morgan Hill to their liking when batting. San Diego nearly bowled out, ended up 80 for 9. SoCal barely able to get over the triple-digit mark. That one worked behind square, and that'll be another single here. Greg Hay off the mark. And Nisarg Patel will face the last of the second over. Bay Area sides, on the other hand, East Bay flirting with 160. Looked like they might absolutely blow the roof off the joint when they were 77 for 1 after 10. That one threw into the gloves of Melantha. So far, the bowling domination of Bay Area teams over the Southern California sides, admittedly just 2 overs in, continuing 3 for no loss.
What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Saurabh Netravalkar will continue from the Barrett Avenue end of the ground. Just a single run off him, courtesy of Nisarg Patel in the first over. He dotted up Greg Hay twice. Hay, the man on strike, as we start the third. A little bit down leg there from Netravalkar, straying in line. That'll be work to fine leg. Srini Raghavan, the deep man over here, though. So maybe a drift in line, or maybe just awareness of where he's got his protection. Both of them currently back behind Nisarg Patel. Raghavan at a rather wide fine leg, maybe even consider that backward point, or excuse me, backward square. Colin Archibald at a deep third man. If you can punch it through the circle up in front of you, you've got a chance for it to roll for a while. Round the wicket to Patel, looking to angle that in towards his feet. Gets the length right. Nisarg works it away and will fight another delivery. Coming into the weekend, Nisarg had opened just once. Most of the season had been a useful middle bat with a 109 strike rate and a 33 average. Left arm pace, though, a good thing to start with against him. That one does hit the pads. The appeal is long-lasting, vociferous, and ignored. Sundaram Subramanian, the man at the far side of the pitch. Unmoved by the desperation there. little bit of movement in the field inside the circle. The deep men stay at the same positions, though. Patel runs that one off the face of the bat. A nice little cut shot. Colin Archibald, good work at third man, but they will quickly take the second run, rather. First multiple run scoring shot, even as Archibald cuts off any chance at a boundary. San Diego, for their part, may have it in their head if they don't get a boundary relatively early in this innings. Yesterday, they didn't hit one until the 19th over. The second ball of the 19th, and even that one was assisted by Sanjay Krishnamurthy of the East Bay Blazers. A ball that was over the top of him in the covers, and as he chased it out towards the rope, kicked it the last 20 feet or so. Another one that gets the pads. Again, the appeal, this time not anywhere near as long-lasting. Subramanian, again, has it fall on deaf ears. Pankaj Chowdhury, by the way, the man at the square leg umpire position, as we get a look at this delivery from Saurabh Netravalkar. Height may be the concern on that one. Certainly looked to be in line in terms of impact. I don't think it was moving enough side to side to end up missing leg stump, but it was likely going a bit over the bails. Final delivery of the third. Patel runs that one down towards third man. It's a bit wider of Archibald. He'll have to do some work to get to that one, and it will be another 2. So 5 off the Netravalkar over. 8 runs for no loss through 3.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Greg Hay will be on strike as Colin Archibald continues from the San Pedro end. Hay last year 13th in scoring in minor league cricket and 10th in fours. Has been a little bit more low-key so far this season, a 93 strike rate and an 18.5 average. That 3 off 11, though, yesterday was an interruption to a recent trend for him. Had a 52 and a 49 last weekend down at Canyon Side Park. That weekend had us calling San Diego maybe the hottest team in minor league cricket coming into this weekend. 3-1 in a quartet of games at their home ground. 2 of them absolutely heart-stopping, though. Playing on a knife's edge against Seattle Thunderbolts last weekend. They won the first game when they bowled them out. That one airborne and gone. Colin Archibald strikes, but it will not count. The signal from Pankaj Chowdhury, it is a no ball. And that has been one of Archibald's bugaboos. He bowled 2 of them yesterday in the same over. In fact, in this same over, along with a pair of wides. And Greg Hay is spared another single-digit dismissal, as it would appear Colin Archibald has overstepped his line. Excellent catch there either way at point. Ravinder Paul Singh stationed there. But that'll need to be re-bowled, and Hay will live to fight another delivery. Looking for the reverse sweep as it goes down leg side. The call from Pankaj Chowdhury is a wide, and another repeat of Archibald's rough 4th over from yesterday. In yesterday's match, Silicon Valley looked to be on the back foot 4 overs in. SoCal had them at 35 for none, courtesy of a very expensive over from Archibald in the 4th. Hay works that away, didn't get all of it, but put it into a vacant area where they can run a single. So thus far, 3 runs off of what is technically the first delivery of the over. Silicon Valley, boy oh boy did they settle in after that 4th over. As I said, 35 for no loss for SoCal at that point. They wouldn't even give up another 70 runs in the remaining 16 overs, so the run rate cut in half for the remainder of that match. That led to a very chaseable 104 target. Pounded into the ground, and it will take long enough to get to Singh. And he will end up pegging Nisarg Patel with the throw, and that's going to require a moment's attention for the man now at the non-striker's end. They scamper the single, but the throw in got Patel on the back of the calf. That has got to sting. This time the little over-the-shoulder scoop does come off for Greg Hay, and it is the first boundary of today's encounter, a 4 to a very, very fine leg. Didn't need to get much of that to keep it from getting into Melanta's gloves, and he gets just enough here. Very nicely done reverse ramp. It's got a little of everything. It's got the ramp portion of it. It's got the switch hit. One of those shots that when you're new to cricket just makes your head explode a little bit the first time you see it. But especially with Archibald straying down leg stump on a lot of these deliveries. Good thought by Hay. Slaps that one now, and it's going to be a long run for the man at square leg in the deep. Good work out there, though, by Arsh Butch. He'll restrict that to just a single. But against Netravalkar in the last over, and now against Archibald, San Diego's starting to rotate the strike and looking for a decent opening partnership here. This is a team that has struggled immensely in the power play. Came into action with the 3rd slowest power play batting in all of minor league cricket, 4.79. The only slower ones play all their games over in the East Coast, where run rates have gone to die. The other one's Seattle. Yesterday they were 19 for 3 after 6. Good comeback ball here for Archibald as he buries that one in Nisarg Patel's armpit. Bunted right back into the pitch. The top 3 in their lineup this season have been, well, it's been a rebus they've been trying to solve, and Nisarg Patel might be a bit faster of a scorer generally speaking, but the only kind of bowler that's held him under a 100 strike rate on the year have been left-arm pacers, and that's basically what you're going to see from Silicon Valley. So, interesting decision at this point. Patel under the Orca's lid. Puts that one to the offside, and Archibald will spin and try for the direct hit. Shahan Jayasuriya backing up in his position at long on, and that'll just be a single to finish, but a pricey over. A no ball that negates the potential wicket of Greg Hay, the first boundary of the day. And San Diego now 18 for no loss through 4.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
A lovely near cloudless sky over Morgan Hill this morning as we get The third of our 4 matches this weekend here in the Western Division of Minor League Cricket underway. 4 overs in San Diego, 18 for no loss. They're going to get a look for the first time from the Barrett Avenue end at Dev Thadani. And Thadani bowled up a storm yesterday, just 16 runs in the 4 overs he bowled. He started with a maiden 5th over against SoCal. And then towards the end was responsible for removing one of the 2 potential sources of boom boom as the Lashings looked to try to accelerate and build a total worth bowling at. Thadani, the one who got Elmore Hutchinson. Will face off now with another longtime USA international, Nisarg Patel, on strike as he absorbs a dot here to begin the 5th over. This is sort of characteristic of the way Thadani's been used this season. Last year, 80% of his overs were in the middle, between the 7th and the 14th. A top edge from Nisarg Patel, and that is going to run fine of Colin Archibald in the circle, and that'll be the first boundary for Nisarg. No maiden to start here for Thadani today. This one riding up just a little high. Decent bit of bounce coming off that surface. That was not a particularly short ball that came up to nearly shoulder height on Nisarg Patel. Trying to cramp the body there. Nisarg will find his way over to the other end after Jadiwala has to crash in. He and Hay, so far, very active between the wickets. Has been one of Hay's bugaboos inside the power play as of late, a 42.9 non-boundary strike rate. Not getting much unless he's hitting it to the boundary, looking to do so right here and pings it right off the advertising board wide of Colin Archibald at third man. 2 boundaries in the over now. 1 apiece for Hay and Nisarg. "39-year-old Greg Hay, man from Rotorua, New Zealand." Not a bad delivery there from Thadani, going for that 5th stump line. This time around tries to cramp on the legs, and Hay noticing, I think that was the tendency as Thadani has been working both away and then back in. Did that with Patel, and he worked it to the onside for that quick single. This time around, Hay gave himself a little bit of room with the feet. Seemed to anticipate that Thadani was going to come down leg side that time. This right here is exactly how you draw up and over. Couple boundaries and then rotate the strike immediately. Patel drops that one off. Chance over at the striker's end as Graham charges in, but he does not get the ball out of his hand. So a dot to finish. Very symmetric looking 5th over there from Thadani. It ends up being a bit expensive. 10 runs from it. San Diego now 28 for no loss.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Thought for a moment we might have our first introduction of spin, and it would have been a surprising choice as your first line spinner with Pranay Suri and Srinivas Raghavan out there, but Shahan just collecting the ball and having a conversation with Lahiru Milantha, and then tosses it to Colin Archibald, who will bowl his 3rd inside the power play from the San Pedro end. Thus far, Archibald reasonably economical, just 2 off of his first. Did give up 10 in that 4th over, but managed to keep it from blowing up to the 14, 15, 16 sort of range that happened yesterday. That one briefly airborne. They'll look to take the quick single, and Srini Raghavan can't make a clean pickup. Hay continues to accumulate here, 14 off 11 for him. We were mentioning before, the top 3 this season. In their first 4 games, the 4 losses, they averaged 31.5 runs together at a strike rate of 95. During that 3-1 stretch they had down in Canyon side, strike rate dropped to 83, but they bumped up the total to 51.3 runs. That one in the air, and it's off the hands of a diving Dev Thadani in the covers. He at least got enough on it to stop it. My correction, I don't believe that is Thadani. It's actually Rahul Jariwala. I knew it was somebody who went to Irvington High School. Absolutely stung by Hay, Nisarg Patel rather, but it was uppish. And Jariwala did have a chance at it, got his hands to it, half a chance there. A quick single taken here as the throw is going to split a pair of fielders. Greg Hay continues to put up the stop sign. Even as the overthrow was then briefly mishandled. Well, that's now 2 overs in a row that Colin Archibald has induced an airborne ball to the offside. He had that line shot caught by Ravinder Pal Singh at point that was negated by the no ball on the first delivery of the 3rd. And then here on the 2nd delivery of the 6th, a missile. And Rahul Jariwala almost hauled in. You have to believe if he were wearing the gloves he often does behind the wicket, that one sticks. San Diego have acquitted themselves well. That one scorched through a gap on the offside. That ball rolling. Long, long chase and right in front of our field mic. Finally grabbed by Ravi Singh. It'll be another pair. Didn't quite get enough on that to get it to roll all the way to the rope. Archibald giving a few indications this will be the final delivery with the fielding restrictions in place. Deep men at fine leg and at backward square. That one gets the pad of Greg Hay, but very much going down leg. And so a dot ball to finish a nearly run-a-ball power play here for San Diego Surf Riders. A decent comeback from yesterday's struggles. 34 for no loss as the fielding restrictions release.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Looks as though Dev Thadani is going to stay on from the Barrett Avenue end. An unbeaten power play for Hay and Nisarg. Nisi to his friends. So far this season, when batting first, this San Diego team 3-2. Their average 131, but it's actually been increasing match on match. That was one of the more interesting things to spot over the course of the weekend at Canyonside. As those matches went on, they scored 127, then 130, then 133, then 145. They managed to defend all but one of those totals. Spoiler alert, and weird stat alert, it was actually the third highest, or the second highest of them that they were unable to defend. Golden State getting there with 5 balls to spare last Sunday. First delivery from Thadani, tapped on the pitch there. Look out, Greg Hay was a long way out of his ground, now off the overthrow, and the attempt at a direct hit. They will take the single. Bit of a mix-up there, and good alert fielding initially by Thadani. Certainly worth the attempt, although if he had eaten it, it would have been a dot ball, but Patel wanted nothing to do with it. Hay got about 2/3 of the way down, and the throw really nowhere near the stumps as it worked out. That tapped, another thought of a quick single, immediately quashed. Of course, deep men all over the place now, and a number of them in the lateral positions and behind. With Greg Hay here on strike. Fine leg, square leg, third man, and mid-wicket, along with long on. A correction, not mid-wicket, point. That's where the ball ends up. Greg Hay picking up a single here. 2 off the first 3 against Thadani, who did give up a couple of boundaries in his first over of work. 12 runs off the first 9 already, just 4 shy of what he gave up all yesterday against SoCal. Coming over the wicket, a full-blooded stroke by Nisarg, and that is going to cause it to take a funky hop in front of the fielder in the circle, Pranay Suri. Grabbing his hand and cursing the blades of grass in front of him. Thought he had that one tracked, but Nisarg with a big enough rip to make sure that that skipped by the captain. That one right back past Thadani. The strike rotation looking very good here so far for San Diego Surf Riders after those first 2 sterling overs from Netravalkar and Archibald. This is the period where San Diego need to build up a bit of a total. Patel will work that one backwards a point. Another single here. Not a team that scores prolifically at the death this season, so they'll want to rack up a few more like this, maybe a couple of boundaries throughout the middle. 5 off Thadani, 39 for no loss through 7.
वक्त आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Got Eric and Rafa on the camera work today. Vishal Tiku at the controls for Crick Live, that is KRIC Live Productions, bringing you 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket. Presenting sponsor Lakshmi House of Spices. I'm looking forward to another spicy biryani between games here today. They've been taking good care of us at Morgan Hill. Speaking of taking good care, Pranay Suri now, the skipper, on from the San Pedro end, and he took good care of 3 important batters during the first innings for SoCal yesterday. He got Harpreet Singh, Mrinal Patel, and Ruben Clinton. The opener, and as of late, 2 of the finishers. He comes on bowling a little bit of off spin. A lot of width on offer, although that almost stayed airborne going past the short third man, Dev Tadani. Got enough on it to keep it from reaching the boundary rope. It'll just be 2. Decent rip and a top edge from a wide ball. That's a nice thing, 1 out there. Not a lot of danger, especially if you flat bat it. You're not going to punch that into your stumps. But he did almost leave it in the air long enough for the youngster at third man. That one right back to Pranay, sprightly as he fields his position. Former USA Youth International. Nearly doubled his wicket tally on the season yesterday. That one is airborne and a chance. Moving over is Ravi Singh. He will not be able to secure it. Had to make a lot of ground to get to that ball. A dropped opportunity and a single in the books. And Ravi Singh at fine leg finds himself all the way over at point by the time he tried to wrangle that one in. Would have been a highlight reel snag. A little bit wider this time around from Suri, and Hay swings right through it. Just 3 off the first 5, looking for a strong finish to his first over of work here in the 8th. Hay taps that one wide of Suri. They will be able to take a single. And so 4 off of it. San Diego continuing to tick the odometer, 43 for no loss through 8.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
Thus far, the San Diego openers getting it done. Hay and Patel closing in on what might be an opening partnership for a half-century on the season so far. Just 2 half-century partnerships for the San Diego Surf Riders, 1 on opening weekend. Nisarg Patel and Marty Kane put up 69 for the 4th wicket against SoCal Lashings. In that match, San Diego very nearly did chase down their total. They have yet to win a match from a chasing position, 0-4 after yesterday. In fact, they've only gotten worse as they've gone along. 10-run loss to Lashings, then 25 to Blazers, then 55 when they faced these strikers down in Van Nuys, and then 77 yesterday to East Bay. Left arm spin from the other side, Srini Raghavan, and that one is tapped to the man at mid-off. No run there, and Srini Raghavan underway. He was 1 for 13 yesterday and was the one that finally baited Kirsten Kalicharan to come forward and walk into a stumping. That one aerial for a moment, but wide of Gary Graham. A single for Hay. The only other 50 partnership this season for the Surf Riders came over Labor Day. 52 from Nikhil Dutta and Sri Krishna Anantaraju against Golden State. Interestingly, they haven't been good harbingers for them. San Diego lost both of those games. So maybe for the sake of that, they wouldn't mind one of these guys losing their wickets before the next 6 runs are scored. That one is in the air, straight back over the bowler's head. Long run for long off. He will get there. Throw comes in, but it'll be a pair of runs. The boundary denied. Thus far, just the 3 boundaries so far today, 1 off Archibald and a pair against Thadani in this first over. There's another one that looks like it hit a rock just in front of Pranay Suri. This time he's able to follow the surprising bounce. The pitch has been pretty well behaved, but the infield arguably is the place with the variable bounce. Raghavan working quickly, and that one is on the ground to the offside. Raghavan with 6 solid balls here to start his spell. Just 4 from it. San Diego 47 for no loss through 9. A reminder of what's to come here in the Western Division of minor league cricket. One more match today after this one. That'll be between the SoCal Lashings and the East Bay Blazers. That one with some major playoff implications. East Bay trying to keep themselves with their nose in front, gunning for that division championship that would send them directly to Texas for the Super 8s, the final weekend of September. SoCal, meanwhile, in desperate need of a victory to open up a scenario that would let them qualify for the first time in team history. Suri on his first delivery as he continues from the San Pedro end. Works that to the onside for a single. Next weekend we'll have Grizzlies and Blazers from Morgan Hill on Friday, makeup of a postponed game from September 1st, as Hay works that one to the onside. So far, San Diego content to rack up the singles, keep this platform ready. They do have a little bit of big hitting down the order. Nikhil Dutta can get hot. Adit Gorawara, Chad Britsky has had some decent scores, 32 off 18 in his opening day score. That's a tasty snag over there in the covers from Dev Thadani. We know what he's done with ball in hand, but when the ball comes to his hand, he's been equally effective. Pranay Suri working quickly. Swing and a miss as that one is just outside the reach of Nisi Patel. That one tapped back in the direction of the bowler. Patel thought about trying to take a single, but thinks better of it. Singles off the first 2 balls, and now 3 dots on the trot. Suri trying to apply a little pressure and break this partnership before the half-century mark. That one dragged to the onside, and it will indeed be the 3rd 50 partnership of the season. First one from the openers here for San Diego Surf Riders. They've had a hard time getting it done with their top-order batsmen, but today, so far so good. 50 for no loss through 10.
गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Halfway home here in the first innings. Half century on the board for San Diego Surf Riders, and the openers still out there. Thinking now might be the time to start pushing the pedal toward the accelerator, but they have been they have had the brakes applied forcibly so far by the spin bowling of Pranay Suri and Srini Raghavan. Dev Thadani as well in his second over, a great deal more economical. Patel right through Srini Raghavan. May have gotten a hand to that to keep it from racing away to the boundary. Since the pair of 10-run overs against Archibald and Thadani, it's gone 6-5, 4-4, 3 for the scores in the overs. That is It's not the direction you want your Manhattan going in the middle overs. That one worked to mid-wicket. Vacant area there. They'll take a easily run single. 2 so far off Raghavan. First meeting between these two teams was actually looked very similar to the way SoCal dealt with the bowling of Silicon Valley yesterday for San Diego. That one might have been an under edge that did not stick in Melanta's gloves. Half a chance there. Great looking ball from Srini Raghavan. Continues to be very economical. Mentioned he's taken multiple wickets in 4 of 7 matches for Silicon Valley. And when he doesn't take wickets, he still can make you look pretty silly. His economy's been under 4 in every one of the other matches. 1 left in this over. That one down the leg side. Srini will have to bowl that one over again, but for the most part, continuing to put on the clamps. It's been a long while since anyone hit a boundary for San Diego. Patel will bang that one into the ground. Easy pickup for the skipper, Surrey. Just 3 from it, only 2 off the bat against Raghavan. 11 overs gone, the run rate ducking under 5s, 53 for no loss.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Pranay Surrey will continue from the San Pedro end, and why not? That is in the air, but fine of Dev Tadani at fine leg. Racing towards the boundary. Correction, that is Srini Raghavan at fine leg, and that will make it to the rope just in front of the Sunoco signboards. And that the first boundary since that pair of them hit against Dev Tadani back in the 5th over. A bit of invention here from Hay. Admittedly, Surrey got quite a bit of purchase off the surface. That one turning drastically back in towards the gloves of Hay. But he gets just enough bat, or maybe just enough glove on it, and this time around slaps it with a bit more authority. And again, that is going to beat the man to the boundary rope at a deep third man. Ravinderpal Singh coming all the way over from backwards square. Nothing to be done about that. This one, not just the result he was hoping for, but probably a great deal more the style he was hoping for than what he saw on the first delivery from Surrey. The ball continuing to turn pretty dramatically off the surface. Hay comes forward, and he is going to lose his wicket courtesy of a stumping there. The partnership broken, and ever the danger. Boom, boom, gone. Gets the 2 4s, expecting perhaps a particular adjustment from Surrey, and didn't get it. Pranay a little bit more flight on this one, and you see again that dramatic turn right through the gate as Hay comes forward. And all too simple for Melantha to whip off the bails and end this opening partnership right here at 61 runs. We'll introduce you to the new batter in just a moment here, but at halfway through the 12th over, first wicket down for San Diego, 61 for 1. The new man at the crease is Adit Gorawara, 21-year-old native of Mumbai, representing Hong Kong now. Debuted for the Hong Kong national side in 2019. He's got 8 List A matches under his belt and 2 T20Is. And he's off the mark quickly here as he runs this off the splice of the bat. And that will also beat Srinivagavan to the boundary. So far, every delivery has gone for 4, except for the one that dismissed Greg Hay. That one off the splice of the bat there. That is a bit of a lucky knock. If he gets a little bit less on that, it's probably right into Milantha's gloves. Surrey continuing to get a lot of turn off this Morgan Hill pitch. That one a little fuller, and it's pushed just past the outstretched hand of Pranay. And we'll see if they try to run off the misfield as Colin Archibald took his eye off the ball for just a moment, but no harm, no foul as the ball in is caught by Nisarg Patel. I don't think that's quite how you draw it up. Gorawara 4 off 8 yesterday. He's underway now with 5 off the first 2 he's faced. Almost a carbon copy of the last delivery and last stroke. Another single, this one for Nisarg Patel. And that's going to do it for over number 12. So a pricey one off Pranay Surrey as he gives up 3 boundaries, but in the midst of all that, manages to dismiss Greg Hay and make the first dent in this San Diego lineup. 67 for the loss of 1. Back to live action here in the 13th over. Srinivagavan continuing from the Barrett Avenue end of the ground, working against the lone remaining opener, Nisarg Patel, sitting at 29 off 46. Greg Hay dismissed for 30 off 26, 4 boundaries for him. And Patel risking dismissal here. This is in the air to long off and easily taken by Shahan Jayasuriya. And just like that, both of the San Diego openers have been sent packing in the span of 5 deliveries. Raghavan's got his first. He has continued to apply pressure. Just 7 runs conceded off of 14 deliveries. And Nisarg Patel, a decent spell today, but a little ill-advised trying to play that one in the air. Didn't quite have the length read. Got a decent bit of it, but just not enough. And Shahan Jayasuriya with about as sure of a pair of hands as you'll find out there at long off. So Gorawara will stay in. He's got 5 off the 2 he's faced so far. New man is going to be Abhinay Reddy, a bit of a promotion up the order for him. Reddy, somebody who is becoming before our very eyes an honest-to-goodness all-rounder for this team. Came into the weekend averaging 15 with the bat, 20.5 with the ball, a 6.5 economy, and on top of all that, has been one of the better fielders. We nearly saw him take another blinder yesterday, last weekend. He was awarded the number 2 play of the week for a backpedaling one-handed catch that he made at third man. I'll be perfectly honest, I thought that was his number 2 catch personally of the week, as he also made a leaping 2-handed grab to save a boundary and dismiss a batter in the first game against Seattle. But yesterday, 28 not out, the only 2 boundaries hit by San Diego batters. And on top of that, took a wicket in the first innings. Blocks out the first delivery from Srinivas Raghavan here. Now he'll work that to the vacant mid-wicket area for a single. For Reddy, left arm spin is what he'd love to see a bit of from that end. A 158 strike rate coming into play this week. 30 off 19 against southpaw spinners. It's going to bring Gorawara back on strike. Adit as well. Very happy to see some spin here. His strike rate 141 against spin, just 57 against pace. There's no defense for that, though. That is, however, Milantha knocking the stumps off. Gorawara going nowhere there, at least live. Tough to tell whether that's gloves or ball that were responsible for knocking the bails off, but learn my lesson. Don't get too excited too fast. That one banged into the ground by Gorawara. And so a pair of dots to finish the over. A sterling one from Srini Raghavan. As we get a look here at the ball that nearly took out Adit Gorawara. Good quick glove work from Lahiru Milantha. But Gorawara apparently did keep that back foot down. I can see why there was an initial appeal. That'll do it for the 13th. Just one from it. And the wicket of Nisarg Patel, 68 for 2. The skipper Pranay Suri is going to bowl himself out right now from the San Pedro end. First delivery just wide of the reach of the newly installed Abhinay Reddy. First 2 overs from Suri, very economical, 4 and 3 from it. As he and Srini Raghavan have worked to put on the clamps. The 14-run over in the 12th, the only blip in the Manhattan, which has certainly gone from looking very downtownish in the first handful of overs to, well, exceedingly suburban since then. Single to just to the onside of Pranay. He did give up 3 fours on either side of taking Greg Hayes' wicket. That 14-run over, one of just 3 that have been in double digits today. That is drilled, though, towards mid-wicket. Perhaps cow corner, and going all the way, the first 6 of the day for the San Diego Surf Riders, as they'll look to augment this total enough to give themselves a chance to defend it against the vaunted Silicon Valley batting lineup. Down on one knee, Adit Gorawara depositing that one to mid-wicket, and immediately will look to exchange the strike and get Reddy back on. Reddy had the only 6 of yesterday's game, along with the Sanjay Krishnamurthy aided 4. In that case, I felt like Reddy should have gotten an assist. Krishnamurthy scored the goal. Clean bowled, though. That'll be it for Abhinay Reddy. It's a short stay at the crease today after his 28 not out yesterday. Pranay Suri, with his final delivery, takes a second wicket. He's got 2 of the 3, and let's get a look as we see the back of Suri in his bowling spell. Again, the turn coming in on about a 6th or 5th stump line all the way to the top of mid-stump. And Abhinay Reddy just replaying that stroke in his mind, even right there at the crease, trying to figure out what all went wrong. Abhinay gone for just 2 runs today. 3rd wicket down at the end of the 14th, 76 for the loss of 3. We're going to get a look here at the 3 wicket taking deliveries. This one, Greg Hay, just after he had hit a pair of 4s, coming forward right through the gate with the turn from Pranay Suri. Spin continuing to be the order of the day. This one, a long drive from Nisarg Patel. Not quite enough Sunoco to get past Shahan Jayasuriya. Nestled into his hands, and here, the timber rattled by Pranay Suri. Again, through the gate. A lot of turn into the batters.
Good last 6 here, boys. Good last 6 here, guys.
very similarly to yesterday, and very similarly, for that matter, to the first meeting between these teams. The chokehold has been put on by the Silicon Valley spin bowling pair of Raghavan and Suri. When these two teams met down in Van Nuys, Silicon Valley won by 55. They put up a big total in the first innings. And they did about the same thing as San Diego got out to a quick start in the first 4 overs, 31 for 3. And then it was Srini, along with assistance from Tadani and Pankaj Rao, that choked off the runs. They ended up bowling out San Diego for just 119 in that game. San Diego would be pretty happy with 119 here, as Sri Krishna Anantaraju, one potential source of some boomstick right now, comes in to face Srini Raghavan. That one dumped toward mid-wicket. That'll be a single. There were some thoughts about trying to take a second, and then Adit Gorawara lost the hold on his bat and had to turn it down. Sri Krishna off the mark here early. Looking for some oomph there, and that is going to be a one-hop 4 off the bat of Adit Gorawara. Again, putting the knee down and stroking one to the onside. This time around, targeting square leg. First ball we've seen hit hard off Srini Raghavan today. He had yet to concede a boundary before that. Just 14 so far off his 22 balls bowled. 2 left in his spell, looking for a strong finish. Gorawara will push that to square leg for a single, and Sri Krishna Anantaraju will face the final delivery from Srini. Anantaraju so far this season, a 102 strike rate and a 12 average, but did show last year what he can do if he gets himself settled in. A 71 not out against Seattle and a game-winning 6 against the Lashings last year. He'll have to wait for that first boundary stroke for future overs. 83 for 3 as we hit the death overs here in Morgan Hill.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Death overs underway. Colin Archibald back into the attack. This is by and large where we have seen him. Strictly in these high leverage overs. Coming into action this weekend, he had bowled 8 overs for Silicon Valley. All of that in Davis 3 weekends ago. 4 of them in the power play, 4 of them at the same story yesterday, although he only bowled 1 of his death overs after getting a pretty economical spell in his first one. This one worked between a pair of fielders behind on the offside. It'll be a quick 2 taken by Gorawara and Sri Krishna. $20 off 11 so far for Adit Gorawara. That's the kind of acceleration San Diego need from here to the finish to try to make this defendable. We saw what that Silicon Valley lineup can do as they knocked off a 103-run total and a 104-run target set by SoCal Lashings in just over 13 overs yesterday. A little shorter there from Archibald, up into the gut of Gorawara. He works that away. Thought about 2. It is misfielded, and now they will take the 2. Gary Graham out there in the deep, a little uncharacteristically, but Archibald usually the one occupying that position, so Graham taking up the spot at backward square now. Or excuse me, correction, cow corner against Adit. He'll flare that one to the offside. Nobody in the deep over there. Brilliantly struck to third man. Saw him up in the circle. And Godawara off to a bit of a flyer here. 26 now off 13, 8 just in the first 3 deliveries of this over, and that is a beautifully controlled shot with full knowledge of where to play it to avoid any danger. Colin Archibald and Ravinder Pal Singh in deep conversation about what to do with the field and what to do with the line on this next one. Godawara did well to give himself a little bit of room, just a slight shimmy backwards, as Archibald's last delivery had targeted the body of the young Hong Kong international. 8 so far off the first 3. Let's see if Archibald's got a comeback. Little pace off. Godawara slaps that to point. Well snagged by Raghavan. As they look for acceleration here, interestingly, Strikers and Surf Riders, the 2 slowest teams scoring-wise at the death in this division. A far cry from the Strikers of 2022 in that respect. Full toss is wrecked by Godawara. Long run for Shahan, and he can't quite get down to it. It'll make it to the boundary rope for a second 4 in the over. In this over, it is Adit Godawara's world, and we are just living in it. 30 runs at a 200 strike rate so far. And this one is just simply a missed toss, and honestly nearly high enough to go as a no ball. Godawara struck that one when it was at about hip height, but he did strike it in front of himself, so won't go down as a beamer. We'll take another look here, though. Just one that he did not get right. Boy, oh boy, that is awfully close to being a no ball. Decision from Sundaram Subramanian right now. The square leg umpire is play on, no need to re-bowl. Swing and a miss from Godawara, as he is going to have to be very careful not to succumb to the boom boom gone syndrome here, but he'll get an over here, or an over break to think that through. 16 overs gone. San Diego almost up to a run a ball, 95 for 3.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go Rewards, when you fuel, you save, because rewards come first.
San Diego Surf Riders 95 for 3, 24 balls left to work with to try to build up a defendable total. Surf Riders in search of their first victory up here in Morgan Hill in their team's history, now 0-7 all-time. Pair of losses to Golden State, Seattle, and East Bay, as well as 1 to the Silicon Valley Strikers. Last season, they actually had one of their highest totals of the year in defeat to Silicon Valley. The Strikers set them a total of 197, and San Diego got all the way to 191. Seems to be a different kind of wicket this year so far. Totals have been pretty low. San Diego, though, in shape at the moment with the good platform, just 3 wickets down, and still with the likes of Chad Britsky and Nikhil Dutta waiting to hit. Should be able to get the top score for a visiting team this weekend before too long. That one dragged to mid-on by Sri Krishna. That'll put Godawara back on strike against Dev Tadani, who returns to the attack from the Barrett Avenue end. Thadani 15 runs off his first 2 overs. 10 of those coming in his over inside the power play, the other 5 in the first over outside the fielding restrictions. Swing and a miss from Gorawara as that one buzzes just by the stumps. Diving take by Lahiru Milantha to make sure that that didn't find its way towards the boundary for some byes. Nasty looking ball from Dev though. Gorawara with a leg stump guard. Steps across and lifts this one in the air. Good work by Shahan Jayasuriya to keep that from reaching the boundary. Another single for Gorawara and Sri Krishna back on strike. Anantaraju last season, absolute money in the death overs. He started the season as an opener and struck just 99. Ended up being a closer down the stretch and was much more useful there, and that is why long livers and a long, long 6 just backward of square leg. That might be the longest shot we've seen here this weekend at Morgan Hill. Sri Krishna Anantaraju stand and deliver. Thadani a little bit on the full side there. It looked like he did get some decent bounce off of that one, but swiveled and destroyed. Well read by Sri Krishna. Just as we were saying, a 268 strike rate at the death last season. And looking to dial up a little bit of that here at Morgan Hill. That one pushed just past the outstretched hand of Thadani for a single. And Gorawara will face the final delivery of this 17th over in just a moment. With that majestic 6, the 100 up for San Diego Surf Riders. And Thadani, the day after giving up just 16 in 4 overs, has been targeted a bit by San Diego in the 5th and now here in the 17th. Gorawara looking for another big rip like that, but it does buzz right by him. Luckily for him, just over the stumps. That'll do it for the 17th. Dev Thadani giving up 9 off of it, including the majestic 6 hit by Sri Krishna Anantaraju. San Diego Surf Riders 104 for 3.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Change of ends for Saurabh Netravalkar as he will now bowl at the death from the San Pedro commentary northern end of this ground. Sri Krishna Anantaraju, fresh off of that 6 in the last over, begins on strike. Netravalkar, for his part, has given up just 3 6s all season. One of those yesterday to Kirsten Kalicharan of the SoCal Lashings. First delivery, well bowled. A dot here to start. For the first time, San Diego over the run a ball mark, and they're going to look for a couple of big ones here to see if they can build a defensible total. Just 17 balls left, but if you can convert that into 30-odd runs, maybe push that total near 140, you make things interesting. That one in the air from Anantaraju, and that is a chance put down again at backward square. A couple of drops in the outfield. That have led to some renewed optimism from San Diego. They have not had luck on their side in a lot of those sorts of situations this season. You recall early on in the innings, Colin Archibald just about had Greg Hay on the first ball of the fourth over, but overstepped the popping crease. Yorker off pace from Saurabh Netravalkar. Single worked by Gorawara and Anantaraju back on strike. Shri Krishna, 140 strike rate against left arm pace last season. And with the 10 off 7 right now, another double-digit score for him. Had 2 of them last weekend, a pair of 19s. Those his first double-digit scores of the year. Reads the length well on this and deposits it wide of Ravi Singh. He is not going to get there. Another boundary for Anantaraju. San Diego's total now up to 110. That was beautifully read. A little bit of a shorter ball there from Netravalkar. Didn't pop up as much as you might expect on Shri Krishna. But a lot of width on offer, and he knows what to do with that. Saurabh gave up just 6 runs in his first 2 overs. He's given up 6 off the first 4 balls of this one. Another pace-off Yorker. This one lifted deep, and did it make it on the fly? Not quite. Back-to-back 4s, and now the moment of needing to keep your wits about you. But Shri Krishna enjoying his batting right now off Netravalkar. 10 so far off the over, 9 of those belonging to him. Again, that pace-off Yorker turns into a bit of a half volley. At least on that replay, it looked like it might have gotten there on the fly. Might want to take another peek at that at some point here. We've got a little bit of time to play with and try and slow down the end of this trajectory here. Oh, no, just inside the rope. We get a better look at it. Needed a couple more drops of Sunoco to make it. Vishal Tiku, of course, at the controls, making sure we've got the best view of everything. Eric and Rafa on the camera work, and very well captured there. I believe that's Eric on that particular camera. That one airborne and over the top of everybody behind point, and that is going to be another 4. 3 boundaries on the trot. You almost never see that against Saurabh Netravalkar here at MILC. That's going to run the total up to 118, as that one is lifted over the top of 2 fielders inside the circle. Nothing to do but fetch for Gary Graham and company. And a big one off of Saurabh, 118 for 3 with 2 overs left. Partnership up to 42 off 24 between Shri Krishna Anantaraju and Adit Gorawara. Precisely the acceleration that San Diego needed. It has not been their specialty this season. They've often been 5 or 6 wickets down by the time they reach the death overs, but a good platform set today. A 61-run partnership between Greg Hay and Nisarg Patel. And when they left on back-to-back overs, the baton picked up and sprinted with here. Dev Thadani will bowl his final over, and Adit Gorawara says, "How do you do?" launching that one to cow corner. A puff of dust goes up, and that puff was just beyond the rope. Sundaram Subramanian signals the 6. That is 4 consecutive boundaries here for the San Diego Surf Riders, who are off to a flyer right now. 38 now off 21. Both Gorawara and Anantaraju going at strike rates where some players might get nosebleeds. 180 for Gorawara, 220 for Anantaraju. Looking for more. He'll push that one toward mid-wicket. They take one. Thought about a second, thought better of it. Rahul Jariwala quickly to it. With the platform they have here, knowing that they've got a little bit of batting left in the pavilion that they could make use of, no reason not to be very aggressive right now. And Sri Krishna pushes this one again over the top of the man at a fine long off. Opposite field power from Sri Krishna Anantaraju, his second six. And his fourth boundary shot in as many balls faced here as he now targets Thadani after 3 consecutive fours off Netravalkar. Doesn't matter what side the pace is coming from, Sri Krishna is finding it to his liking. San Diego now into the 130s. Does Thadani have a comeback? Cramps him this time, and it's put away to the left side. That's 6, by the way, moments ago, bringing up the 50 partnership. San Diego had 2 on the season coming into today. They've stitched together 2 today. 61 for the first wicket between Hay and Nisarg. And now all the way up to 56 off just 28 balls, 2 runs a ball. 50 partnership authored by Gorawara and Anantaraju for the 4th wicket. Another single. They are still out there. We talked beforehand about 140 being a decent thing to aim for. They might be able to realistically think about getting to 150 now, especially if they can do something with this last ball from Thadani. Big rip from Anantaraju, but he does not make contact this time into the gloves of Lahiri Milanta. And so a dot to finish for Thadani. Just a single over left here, and we'll keep the stream here at Morgan Hill. 6 balls left. We'll see who's going to handle them. Most likely, Saurabh Netravalkar from this San Pedro end of the ground. A reminder of the stakes of this one. For San Diego, they are pretty much done in terms of playoff likelihood. There is a scenario where all 4 of them, SoCal, Seattle, and Golden State, find their way to 4 and 6, but the net run rate would definitely be a killer for San Diego in that case. They'd have to come out on top. They would most likely come out on the bottom. But they are trying to get to 4 wins for just the second time in their team's existence, and to do that in 10 matches when the last 2 seasons have been 15 and 14 would be a bit of a victory in and of itself. It would also be their first win here in Morgan Hill, here in the Bay Area. And for that matter, their first win this season away from the friendly confines of Canyonside. Silicon Valley trying to keep pace with East Bay, who they face off with Saturday and Sunday next week in the 2 season finales. First delivery from Netravalkar, missed by Gorawara. Hadith potentially with a chance for a 50 here if he can get a couple of charges into one. .40 off 24 so far for him. Another big swing and a miss. He is looking to try to deposit it over the boundary rope, but to no avail so far. This 40, his high score so far in minor league cricket. He had a 37 against SoCal in that one game that San Diego played between opening weekend in Van Nuys and the 4-game weekend over Labor Day last weekend down at Canyonside. Netravalkar trying to pull this back and keep it approachable for the strikers. From over the wicket, takes a little pace off. That's not just going to bamboozle Gorawara, it also gets by Milanta. And they'll run a bye, and it'll be Sri Krishna Anantharaju now to try and take aim at Saurabh. It was Sri Krishna that elevated Saurabh's economy just a touch. He is now back under a run a ball, 20 off 21 deliveries, but those 3 fours accounting for 12 of the 20 runs Netravalkar's given up. A little off balance, lifted towards the onside. He got just enough of it to get it over the fielder. Arsh Butch not able to make a play. It does land inside the boundary rope, so it's just 4. 138. And we mentioned 150 as a potential target to think about. To do that, we need a pair of boom booms here. 2 6s would get that done. So far today, you'd consider Sri Krishna Anantharaju a decent bet to make that happen. He's got 2 of the 4 6s in today's first innings. The other 2 belonging to the man at the other end of the pitch. Adit Godawara. Both of them with 4 4s and 2 6s. Good Yorker there from Netravalkar. They will look to take the quick single. Every run counts. And this is going to be an overthrow, and it'll put Anantharaju back on strike for the final delivery of the innings. Gary Graham a chance for the run out over at the non-striker's end, but unable to hit timber. And the backup was all the way back at the rope, Colin Archibald. The light roller getting cranked up behind us, if you're wondering what that industrial noise in the field mic is right now. Ready for duty, just 1 ball left here in the first innings. Looking to add to 140. Anantharaju straight back past Netravalkar. They'll take a single, well fielded there by Ravi Singh, and a pair of good deliveries there at the end to prevent too much extra damage being done. But San Diego Surf Riders, a phenomenal partnership there, the second highest of the season for them, as Anantharaju and Godawara go for 65 runs in just 36 deliveries to extend this total to 141 and set Silicon Valley a target of 142 to clinch a playoff berth here today at Morgan Hill. As folks walk off, we will take a look at the batting card, the bowling card, and the highlights for today. And it's some lovely reading for San Diego Surf Riders. After yesterday saw just 3 batters get into double figures. To be fair, only 4 get into double figures today, but that's out of 5 total that were needed. It started with a 61-run partnership. It ends with a 65-run partnership. And that accounting for the vast majority of the runs. The only one who didn't fire, Abhinay Reddy there, the 2 off 6, but a new high score here in minor league cricket, the 40 for Adit Godawara, and 2 50 partnerships after having just 2 all season going into this final match. The bowling card, a little bit less comforting reading, and not often that you look at this and see just about every Silicon Valley bowler going for greater than a run a ball. The only 3 wickets claimed by the spinners. Pranay Suri, a little bit of expense early in his spell, but he did take out a pair of San Diego batters. Srini Raghavan, the lone tight bowler today, 1 for 15 for Srini, bowling, as we've seen all season, somebody who may well be earning his way back into the USA radar with the way he's performed here in 2023 Sunoco minor league cricket. We'll take a look at the first innings highlights here. San Diego Surf Riders putting up a solid total. As we re-rack those. It started off here with a couple of shouts early. Silicon Valley strikers gave up not a whole lot of runs in those first couple of overs, and they thought they had Nisarg Patel dead to rights LBW in the first. This one sliced right to the fielder. Ravi Singh made the catch to try to dismiss Greg Hay, but it was an overstep no ball that prevented that from being the day's first wicket, and we would have to wait several more overs, upwards of 12, before a wicket finally fell. Greg Hay with the inventive reverse scoop to pick up his first boundary. Nisarg Patel would follow suit soon thereafter. A lot of fruitful shots played back behind one another after a day in which San Diego struggled to get anything away to the boundary. Just a 4 and a 6 yesterday, en route to 80 for 9 in the chase. Today, he had 12 just between Godawara and Anantaraju, and here's another one from Greg Hay as, again, the space opened up behind. Delicate shots, inventive shots, plenty of Sunoco in the tank today. 13 fours and 4 sixes hit by the Surf Riders. There's another one there from Hay as they targeted just about everybody. Pranay Suri into the attack here after he did get Hay, or after he was gotten by Hay a couple of times. He did get his man, guiding that one through the gate. Suri getting an awful lot of turn today. Sometimes used against him, but it did allow him to pick up a pair of wickets. This one here, one of the first balls to Adit Godawara en route to his MILC high score of 40. Run off the splice of the bat for a 4 right out of the gate. Nisarg Patel getting a little over-aggressive against Srini Raghavan, and he would not quite get that one to the boundary rope. Shahan Jayasuriya with the bucket hands to spell the end of the other opener. But by that point, a good platform was set, and Adit Godawara and Sri Krishna Anantaraju would take them the rest of the way. An opportunity there to try to whip the bails off, but Adit did just barely keep his foot down. And then he started hitting the ball to all parts. This one out towards the pavilion for 6. Against Pranay Suri here, he would manage to get Abhinay ready. The only cheap dismissal of the day. And then it was the Godawara and Sri Krishna show. This the only boundary conceded all day by Srini Raghavan in his final over of work. But it would be Colin Archibald that would begin to get targeted. There a 4 off the bat of Godawara. And then this full toss dispatched, and just barely too much juice on it for Shahan Jayasuriya to close it down. And then off the Dhani, Sri Krishna Anantaraju leaning on that one. And then it would be Saurabh Netravalkar, a bit surprisingly being taken to the cleaners. Final 3 balls of his third over, going for a trio of 4s. Hit by Sri Krishna, the first one to the offside, this one straight back over his head and just barely shy of being a 6. And then finishing off with this one back behind point. And then it would be Thadani's turn to get victimized. Adit Godawara launching on the first delivery of the 19th. He would turn the strike over to Anantaraju, and he would show us a little bit of opposite field power. That one just barely wide of straight back over Thadani's head, and too long for Shahan to keep in the park. Last 4 of the innings would be off of Saurabh Netravalkar on the third to last delivery. That one just wide of Arsh Buch. A 2 and a 1 after that would set the final total at 141 for 3. Beautifully built innings for San Diego. Target set 142 for Silicon Valley to try to take their 6th win of the season home, their 15th ever here at Morgan Hill, and a 3rd consecutive playoff berth here in 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket. We'll be right back with that on the other side of the innings break. Welcome back to Morgan Hill Outdoor Sports Complex. In Morgan Hill, California, we are in Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley Strikers have got a target set of 142 to try to make their way officially to the 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championships postseason. They're going to start the same way they did yesterday with Lahiru Milanta and Arsh Butch at the crease. Butch will be looking for a bit of a comeback. His day was very short. Had a leg by on the first delivery. Milanta worked the strike back to him on the second, and then he was caught LBW by Ayan Desai for the lone wicket claimed by SoCal Lashings yesterday. In that case, it was a much easier target to go after. They only needed 104 runs to win that game. And they did so with aplomb. Milanta and Jayasuriya knocking off the other 103 unbeaten. They'll be facing off with spin right from the get-go. The youngster Devam Srivastava has us underway in the chase. First ball is a bump ball right into the hands of the yellow-clad bowler. Devam was in the 11 yesterday, but did not pick up the ball to bowl. Strictly a fielding day for him in the first innings of the matchup with the East Bay Blazers. So far tight on the first two deliveries, Butch unable to work it away. That 103 not-out partnership yesterday between Milanta and Jayasuriya, third time those two have gone for at least 50. They also had 78 against San Diego the first time these two faced off, and 65 against Seattle in Silicon Valley's victory there. Butch off the mark with a single. And Silicon Valley themselves now underway. One for no loss here, 3 balls in. That will bring up Milanta, and perhaps no single player, certainly in this division, maybe in all of minor league cricket, has been more of a bellwether for his team's success than Lahiru Milanta has been. We gave you a stat yesterday about his average in wins versus in losses. It's only gotten crazier. 5.5 in losses, his average. 59.8 his average in wins after going for 71 not out yesterday, tying his season high, which came against the San Diego Surf Riders in the first win of the season for Silicon Valley. First delivery to Milanta from Srivastava. Not anything on there, a dot ball to begin against Milanta. Lahiru came into the weekend with a 126 strike rate and a 35.4 average. All of that definitely rising as we go along. Has particularly enjoyed hitting in the middle overs. Has been held a bit in check in the power play. Just 4 boundaries and 58 balls coming into the weekend. That one tapped right back to Srivastava. The big thing he does sometimes is affect your entire game strategy. The question of whether to play a lefty spinner when he's involved, and especially when he and Jayasuriya are both at the crease, can keep very effective guys out of your attack. They're starting with off spin here, and Milanta has tried to work that one back behind square. They'll pick up a quick single. He will retain strike as we go to the second over. 1 down, 2 for no loss. San Diego is going to start with pace from the Barrett Avenue end, and no surprise, the 37-year-old native of Colombo, Sri Lanka, Gayan Fernando, minor league cricket's leading wicket taker, came in with 20 in 28.5 overs coming into the weekend, 3 for 29 yesterday. Took out David White, Vikash Mohan, and Sanjay Krishnamurthy, which on a normal day this season would have been the top 3 batters in the East Bay lineup. Yesterday it was number 2, number 3, and I believe number 7, as Vikash back into his closer role with Saideep Ganesh healthy and back in the side. We'll, of course, get a look at all of those names later on this afternoon, 2:15, the scheduled start of East Bay Blazers SoCal Lashings. An absolutely critical game for both teams. East Bay trying to cinch up a playoff berth and stay in front of the division. SoCal trying to give themselves an avenue to a playoff berth as they sit at home watching Golden State and Seattle next weekend. First delivery here from Fernando. Bunted to the offside, no run there. Coming back to Melantha, his very presence in the game has a tendency to eliminate any likelihood of seeing a lefty spinner. Good news, though, is if I'm reading my notes correctly, that really only means Nisarg Patel for today. Marty Kane unavailable for a second day running. He is in town. Saw him on team hydration duty as the second delivery from Fernando will have to be re-bowled, a wide there. But Nisarg is the one that may not see action early on. SoCal certainly held Rubal Raina and Mrinal Patel out until very late in that chase as Melantha pops this one up. Could be a caught and bowled. No, it's a fielder back there just over the head of Gayan Fernando, but he has struck again inside the power play. Came in with 8 power play wickets, make it 9 here, and he has taken out Lahiru Melantha, and all of those strategic concerns somewhat by the wayside. We're going to see an early entry here for Shahan Jayasuriya alongside Arsh Buch. But Melantha throwing that shot a little bit early, maybe a bit of pace taken off by Fernando, and coming over to secure that. No major surprise there. Abene Reddy, one of the leading catchers in all of minor league cricket, came into the weekend actually second in the league in dismissals with 11 of those and tied for the most catches. And that one, honest to goodness, pedestrian by his standards. He has taken a couple of absolute blinders the last few weeks. And so it will be one Sri Lankan out, another one in to face the Sri Lankan bowler. All of this feels right with my personal experience of cricket. It's come up before on the broadcasts. I am a New Zealand supporter. The first match I ever watched was a test between New Zealand and Sri Lanka. So I've got a little bit of a soft spot as well for the Islanders. First delivery targeting the stumps to Jayasuriya, worked back behind square. Shahan, when he gets a chance to express himself, has got every shot in the book. Had a lovely spell with the Seattle Orcas earlier this season. In fact, the one Major League Cricket jersey I acquired was his. Not actually a game-worn one. I had to get that one shipped in from India. It's off to a little bit slower of a start here in Major League Cricket. Did have a 55 in the season opening loss to the SoCal Lashings. Fernando buzzing that one just past the off stump. Full delivery staying low on Arsh Buch, but my apologies here. I'm seeing it from a funky angle here at the commentary position. I should be looking at the monitor. That's a wide. Not a huge issue for Fernando. Came in with just 7 extras this season. That one nearly chops Buch in half. Fiddling at it. That has been one of Arsh Buch's bugaboos over the last couple of seasons. He was gotten LBW yesterday. That happened a lot in 2022. Can sometimes get his feet locked in place. Struggle to get the bat down in time. That one again, a little bit better line from Fernando after a couple of wide balls. He's given Silicon Valley a pair. They've earned one off the lone ball Shahan Jayasuriya has faced, and he's taken out the important wicket of Lahiru Milanta. As we said, Milanta a bellwether this season. When he doesn't fire, Silicon Valley has problems. That one might have gotten a feathered touch from Butch. Godawara thought so, but our umpiring crew does not. 3 dots to finish the over. Good first one from Fernando. Milanta gone 5 for the loss of 1. Devam Srivastava is going to continue from the San Pedro end. Shahan Jayasuriya on strike here as the first ball comes in, tapped for no run. As Arsh Butch absolutely in danger of nicking off there. You see the ball just barely scooting past the outer edge of the bat. Fernando with a shout at perhaps wicket number 25 in this minor league cricket season for him to lead all wicket takers. Jayasuriya works that into the vacant area at mid-wicket. Just the second, or rather third run so far off Devam Srivastava. Last year, in fact, he was entrusted with nearly half of his overs inside the power play. A lot of trust to put in one of your youth players. But he was good. 7.0 economy over the course of the season, and it dropped to 6.17 inside the power play. Took 5 of his 6 wickets as well inside the opening 6 overs. Likes what the fielding restrictions do. This one here, though, is guided just wide of a diving Greg Hay. Long run, but it will be a race that the fielder does win. Nikhil Dutta able to restrict that to just 2. This season, all of his rate statistics, the 7.0 economy, the 28.0 average, and the 24.0 strike rate, eerily similar to 2022. Bowled in 2 of the matches over Labor Day weekend. Off spin around the wicket. That one is popped up, long run, and it will not be chased down by Patel before it reaches the safety of the grass. But it is a run here for Arsh Butch. He's got a few here on these last couple of balls, and Jayasuriya will face the final delivery of this second over. Srivastava 2 for 19 in the win on Friday last weekend against the Seattle Thunderbolts. That one worked again to mid-wicket, nearly a photocopy of the first run for Jayasuriya. And that'll do it for the third over. A quick one here worked by Devam Srivastava. Just 5 off of it. Silicon Valley 10 for 1.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Silicon Valley already 1 down here, halfway through the power play. Guyan Fernando continues from the Barrett Avenue end. Jayasuriya using his feet to work his way up the pitch. Fernando bowling a pretty disciplined length. Jayasuriya looking to turn it into a bit more of a half volley there. No run on. Another dot here. Fernando just 3 runs, 2 of them via wides. along with the wicket of Milanta in his first over. So far this season, it's been second wicket partnerships that have gone big for Silicon Valley. That one is roped through the gap, back behind square, and a authoritative 4 from Shahan Jayasuriya. Trying to break the shackles here early, looking for that release shot. Fernando that time drifting a bit down leg, and Jayasuriya knows what to do with that. Practically hits that one one-handed as the bottom hand came off the bat. Bit better line on that one from Fernando, tapped to the offside for a single. There have been 4 50 partnerships this season for Silicon Valley strikers, every one of them for the second wicket, every one of them involving Lahiru Milanta, all but one of them involving Shahan Jayasuriya. And those have come, in fact, in 4 of the 5 Silicon Valley victories, the only match in which they did not manage a 50 partnership and won. Butch thought about the single there. Nice play out in the field by Burhan Barmal, the lone change in the side for either team today as he entered for KK Vemri. But the lone game in which they did not manage a half-century partnership and managed to win was that wild finish up at Golden State, up in Davis, a handful of weeks ago. Butch thinking about chopping that one and trying to open the face of the bat, just barely did not make contact. Gorawara holding that one like a catcher in baseball trying to frame a strike. It's Sundaram Subramanian over there, and he's correctly said, no, that is not a wicket. No Angel Hernandez here to give you the call. C.B. Buckner. It's bad news if you know the name of an umpire, generally speaking, in baseball, right? Butch takes advantage of that. Pardoning. A couple of times he's come close to losing his wicket, but he has got the first maximum of the innings for Silicon Valley and does it on the final ball of Guyan Fernando's second over. Stand and deliver. Arsh Butch here with Fernando providing just a little bit more width. Not a bad line coming at off stump, but Butch steps across his stumps, steps a little bit towards the pitch of the ball, and a gorgeous pickup shot to cow corner, and an authoritative end to the 4th over. Silicon Valley trying to get a move on, 21 for 1.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Srivastava will bowl a 3rd over inside the power play from the San Pedro end. And he'll start off facing Shahan Jayasuriya. The appeal falls on deaf ears. That would be a big fish to knock out inside the power play for San Diego to have a chance here. Let's get a look at this. Srivastava with that wide release. Line is okay, maybe height. Either that or there were 2 sounds, and he was pardoned for that reason. Again, taking advantage of that to immediately lace one towards the pavilions on a few hops. And a release shot for Jayasuriya. Second boundary shot for Shahan. Didn't see the stroke live. You'll see it here. Uses the feet to step forward, gives himself a little bit of room. And a gorgeous cut. On this one, and a much more delicate cut or push, and that's going to roll all the way back to a very fine 3rd man for another pair of runs. didn't make it all the way this time around. But Jayasuriya, without doubt, the danger man. He showed the world that he still has it. Retired in 2020 from Sri Lankan international cricket when he moved stateside to marry his wife Kavisha. But one of the top batters in all of minor league cricket last season. In fact, the second leading scorer as he looks for another boundary stroke. Long run here. Barmal will get there before it reaches the rope. Throw coming into the non-striker's end is not in time. Another pair of runs for Shahan. Last season, 692 runs. Was second in all of minor league cricket, and second by a single run to his teammate Ummuk Chand. Now plying his trade with the Atlanta Lightning, who have locked up a playoff berth themselves this weekend. Silicon Valley looking to do the same. A single here, and Arsh Butch will face the final ball of the fifth. Srivastava had given up 2 and 5 in his 2 overs so far, 9 thus far against Shahan after coughing up his first boundary. Butch tries to push that one past third man up in the circle. No dice. A dot to finish, but 9 runs off the over. Silicon Valley now 30 for 1 through 5.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go Rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
I think 6 over, isn't it? Divvy. Not too tight.
Final over with the fielding restrictions, and it's going to be off spin now from both sides as Nikhil Dutta, Kuwait City native by way of Canada, is going to be brought on from the Barrett Avenue end. Yesterday, a little bit on the expensive side, Nikhil. Gave up 33 runs and was not able to take a wicket. Came in with a 4.87 economy, nearly lopping in half his economy from last season. And he has been a power play monster for the most part. 3.38 the economy inside the opening 6, so understandable. Greg Hay would want to get him in for this last over. Starts Shahan Jayasuriya with a dot. That one pushed to the man at long on. A single for Shahan. We did talk about Milantha being the kind of batter that could hold left arm spin out of the attack. We've yet to see Nisarg Patel. Turned out to be decisive when it was Lahiro Milantha doing that in the first matchup between Silicon Valley and Golden State. Grizzlies did not use Vatsal Vagela until the 12th over. And when they did finally bring him in with the chase just about dusted, he took 2 quick wickets and made that decision look, in retrospect, a little rough. Never got to see if they would have changed strategies the next game because Milantha was gone for a 7-ball duck in that one, and Vagela was brought in very, very early in the piece. SoCal elected to keep Renal and Rubal Raina out of the attack yesterday, with both Milantha and Jayasuriya in, and when Mrinal Patel did come in with his lefty leg spin, it ended up looking like keeping the left arm spin out was the right decision as he traveled for 3 sixes off the final 4 balls. That one tapped straight back to the bowler. Dutta so far pretty nice for his first 4 deliveries, just a single run off of it as they try to choke off Silicon Valley. They've been scoring at just under a run a ball in the power play this season. That one worked to the vacant mid-wicket area, just a single, and Shahan Jayasuriya will look to face the final ball with the fielding restrictions in place. Run rate required started just a little over 7s, creeping up in the direction of 8s. The strikers, they do want these two there as long as possible. They don't have quite the depth of batting in 2023 that they had in 2022. Nice sliding pickup out there after the long run from Greg Hay. Throw hits the batter, and he puts his hand up, says we'll take no further. Manages to hold that to a single on the final ball of the power play. Silicon Valley finish off the fielding restrictions at 33 for 1.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
Surf Riders are going to bowl out Devam Shrivastava right here. Just under a run a ball here for his first 3 overs. Had a decent shout at potentially a wicket of Shahan Jayasuriya, perhaps height the issue on a ball that appeared to get through his guard and looked like it had straightened just enough off the surface, as Shrivastava likes to release this from a bit of a wide angle around the wicket. A lot of width on that one, and they've given that as a wide, and Devam is nonplussed. Adit Godawara, similar look. Wry smile from Nikhil Dutta out here at the boundary rope. That looked pretty good. Long off. Vedant Jain is out in the covers here against Harsh Butch. Also a deep backward square and a deep mid-wicket. Everyone moving around as the lefty-righty partnership turns over. That one targeting leg stump. Harsh Butch moves well across them and deposits that in the direction of the deep man out at backward square. And now time to move the fielders again. One of those times, if you're the San Diego Surf Riders, you thank your lucky stars that you're at relatively temperate Morgan Hill today. Temperature now up to 78 degrees, but a far cry from what we saw particularly in Van Nuys the first 4 games that the Surf Riders played. Expecting a high today of 88. The Surf Riders will say, well, that's SoCal's problem. Jayasuriya trying to guide that to fine leg. Fielder over there is attentive. So far, the 19-year-old Del Norte High School valedictorian and expert off-spinner taking care of business from the San Pedro end. 3 balls left in his spell. That one worked right at the feet of Jayasuriya. He will work a quick single. Through the end of the power play, Silicon Valley was 33 for 1. For comparison, the Worms very close to each other. San Diego was 34 for no loss at the end of the power play. That is airborne, could be a chance, but it will fall in front of the man at deep mid-wicket. Just one more opportunity here to pick up a 3rd wicket on the season and a first of this match for Devam Shrivastava. Final ball of his spell to Jayasuriya. He'll need to bowl that one again. That's going to go down as a couple of wides. As it drifts down leg side, trying for that leg stump line a little bit too hard, and Shrivastava pulls it for a couple of freebies. Came into action today with just 3 wides on the season in his 8 overs of work. 3 in this final over, as he'll look to finish things off against Arsh Butch. Excellent delivery there. Nothing that Butch could do with it. Bunts it into the surface, lives to fight another over. 7 overs down, Silicon Valley 40 for 1, 102 runs from the total to get.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
Nikhil Dutta will continue from the Barrett Avenue end. Double barrel off spin as San Diego look to continue to limit the run rate of the Silicon Valley Strikers. Again, that run rate required getting pushed up in the vicinity of 8s. Nothing this lineup can't handle if they do maintain their wickets, but as we mentioned, not the deep lineup that it used to be. We've got Gary Graham and Colin Archibald down the line a little bit. Ravinder Pal Singh finally showed a little bit of what he can do in the last game at Golden State back 3 weeks ago. Jayasuriya working that to a vacant area at mid-wicket. Quick single taken. This is why you like the right-left partnership here. Yesterday, of course, no problems with the lefty-lefty partnership. Melantha and Jayasuriya going for the biggest partnership of the season for the Silicon Valley Strikers. At unbeaten 103, in fact, the highest unbeaten partnership of the year in minor league cricket. Singles off the first 2 here against Dutta. Did get a chance between overs to chat briefly with Adnesh Tundale. Promising young pace bowler, mechanical engineering major over at Santa Clara. Unfortunately, needs a little bit of engineering potentially to close a wound. Oh, that is going to be the end of the road for Shahan Jayasuriya. Dutta gets one to stay down and turn its way in towards the stumps. A little bit of that mystery spin from the off spinner. Not usually what you expect from an off spinner, but that is the big fish removed from the encounter and game on. And I'll take it back. I don't know that that was necessarily any turn there, but it was a arm ball that absolutely stayed down on Jayasuriya, did not get his body into the proper position to smother it, and it takes out the base of off stump. Game on in Morgan Hill. What a ball from Nikhil Dutta. Let's take one more look at this. You can see there, looks like it hits a spot in the pitch. It is already about to bounce again as it impacts the stumps. That may be some topspin. My goodness. Maybe some topspin, maybe some demons in the surface. At any rate, though, we will see the first bit of Rahul Jariwala this weekend. And Jariwala would have loved the season to have continued the very next day after his weekend at Golden State, instead of having to wait 3 weeks and a day to come back out here and take on San Diego. But Jariwala, in that weekend, a 43 not out off 42, and then a 37 off 32. The Irvington High School grad and shortstop and pitcher has mostly kept wicket as he gets off the mark quickly with a single to the offside. It was a 97-run partnership he had with Milanta in that first victory, and then he stitched together a few 30-run stands as Silicon Valley just did get over the line against the Golden State Grizzlies. That a result that still somewhat resounds in terms of the playoff race this season. Another quick single here, this one worked by Butch. Up to now 15 off 21. The decision to go with the double barrel off spin seems to have applied the pressure, and they've gotten the reward here. Last delivery of the over, Jadiwala will work that just behind square. 5 singles, but the valuable wicket of Shehan Jayasuriya clean balled on an absolutely demonic arm ball from Nikhil Datta, and it's 44 for 2 at the end of 8. Another look here at the ball that dismissed Shehan Jayasuriya. No flight on this one, and hits what appears to be a soft patch in the pitch. Stays way down, and Shehan bamboozled by it as it takes out the base of off stump. Jadiwala can certainly get it done. He has been a big part of stitching together, as we said, partnerships, particularly when Milanta and Jayasuriya either didn't fire, or in one case, one didn't fire and the other was unavailable. But looking from there, strikers have Gary Graham, Ravinder Pal Singh, and Colin Archibald as their potential men to fire at the death and try to equal the finish put on earlier by Sri Krishna Anantaraju and Adit Godawara. The two of them adding 65 runs at the tail end of the innings off just 36 balls. Pair of dots to start as Nisarg Patel, what did we tell you? Into the attack now in the absence of Milanta and Jayasuriya. They know what those two do to lefty spinners. Utterly crucial to get them out of the lineup as quickly as you can. Make it 3 dots on the trot. Patel, the new bowler here at the San Pedro end, as he concedes his first runs here to Rahul Jadiwala. Rahul wants a second, but Britsky in too quick off the boundary for them to make that turn. Srivastava just under a run a ball for his 4 overs of work, 23 runs conceded. A nice spell up front. Try to limit the damage and continue to push this required run rate up, which has now started to touch 8.5. Last season, this team had the likes of Raymond Reefer and Roshan Primus down the order to accompany Gary Graham. Gave you 3 solid options that could do some serious boom boom, as that one is a swing and a miss. We'll tell you more about what this team looked like last year and how they've had to adjust when we come back here at the end of the 9th over. 47 for 2 for Silicon Valley.
आ गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
It'll be the 28-year-old from San Jose, Arsh Butch, on strike as we get our first look at leg spin. Vedant Jain into the attack. Yesterday, he was responsible for taking the wicket of Saideep Ganesh, one of the balls that started to pull the match back in San Diego's direction during the first innings against East Bay Blazers. That his 6th wicket of the season. I don't even have to do the math. He had been taking them at 25 runs per wicket. He was 1 for 25 yesterday. He's still taking them at 25 runs per wicket. Economy started at 7.47. That's down a tick after going at barely over a run a ball yesterday. Generally a middle overs guy. Has been deployed a bit at the death, and that hasn't gone so well. That one right back past the diving, outstretched hand of Jane. That'll be a single to start his spell. Half a chance here at maybe a return catch, as this one was airborne. Oh, he got a fingertip to that. Always traveling at a rate of knots, of course. Second delivery, Jadiwala able to make contact, but just drives that in the direction of Greg Hay. This an ideal situation to have Jane in for a pair of righties at the crease. That's who he's generally been most dangerous and most economical against. That one is rolled into the covers for a single. Last season took 13 wickets, every single one of them against a righty batter. This season, 6 wickets, 5 of them against right-handers. And had a decent shot there at Butch as he swings at that one. Manages to keep the back foot down. Gorawara ready and willing to whip the bails off should the situation call for it. Butch looking for the big shot. That one, though, is going to roll to the man at backward square for another single. Arsh does have a 6 to his name today, but that'll just be another run to bring up the 50 for Silicon Valley. They're about to be halfway through their innings. They've only knocked off a little more than a third of the total, and that run rate required now touching 9s as they go into the back half. Jadiwala looking to do something about that, drives it right back over Jane's head, but it will not have enough Sunoco to reach the boundary. Reddy gets it back in, but it will be a pair to finish things off. 5 runs off Jane. And as we hit the halfway point in the chase, Silicon Valley 52 for the loss of 2.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need 1 hand on the roof, 1 hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
.90 runs away from the target, 10 overs to get it. Nisarg Patel stays in from the San Pedro end of the ground, and we were talking a couple of overs ago about the batting left over as that one hits pad and the finger is up. We'll talk about batting later because that is the end of the road for Arsh Butch. Just as was the case yesterday, he goes out LBW. It was a bit of zip-zip that got him that last time. It's a bit of guile from Nisarg Patel. That one angling in and then straightening up off the surface. Looked like it would have taken out middle stump, maybe about 2/3 of the way up had it progressed all the way there, but Arsh Butch's pad in the way. And that is all for the 28-year-old from San Jose. He leaves having put on 18 runs off of 26 deliveries, did have the 1-6. Striking at roughly the expected rate, 84 on the season, a little down to 69 today. Decent contribution up front, managing to stabilize things after the early departure of Lahiru Milanta. We're going to take a look at the 3 wickets taken so far here in the first 61 deliveries of this run chase. And it started with Lahiru Milanta Bit of an ill-advised shot played a little early and a pop-up to Abane Reddy off the bowling of Gayan Fernando. Later it was Nikhil Datta with a ball that stayed down, an arm ball to knock off Shahan Jayasuriya, and now it's the last of the remaining openers. Arsh Butch, claimed by Nisarg Patel, into the attack now. With the two big fish, Belanta and Jayasuriya, gone and reaping rewards already on just his 7th ball. 1 for 2 so far, the figures make it 1 for 3, maybe 1 for 4, as it looks like Ravinder Pal Singh, just into the match, is going to take a 2 on his first delivery. Singh, a 34-year-old from Canada, looking to work a single just behind square on that second delivery, but the encouragement being shouted out from the boundary ropes. Might actually be Marty Kane right next to our field mic, come to think of it. 55 for 3, run rate over 9 now. As we said, Ravinder Pal Singh is going to want to stick around for a little bit because they generally like to get Gary Graham involved as late as possible. Let him swing freely. An attempted stumping here from Adit Gorawada, not given. Rahul Jariwala apparently maintained contact. His boot back behind the crease line. A little bit of width and a bit of turn, and there it is. Oh, wow. Very nicely done by Jariwala. He was out of his crease, but managed to scoot that foot back and ground it just before Gorawada whipped off the bails. That one worked to the offside. It'll be a single for Jariwala. Everything happening here at Morgan Hill Outdoor Sports Complex. A fantastic opening game for today. A little bit more flight on that one from Datta, and it's worked just to his side. Britsky into field, and it'll be a single to finish off the 11th over. 5 runs from it, but a big wicket. Arsh Butch dismissed. Jariwala survives by the skin of his teeth, or maybe more accurately, the sole of his shoe. 57 for 3.
गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस, इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट में क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
It'll be Ravinder Pal Singh on strike. He had a 15 off 15 in the last game he batted in. At the second of the 2 matches up in Davis against Golden State. Before that, a pair of ducks in his first 2 matches up in Seattle. Looking to get himself well and truly underway here. A nice big hoik, but that'll just go for a single out to Britsky in cow corner. Graham, by and large, somebody who, if Silicon Valley have their way, they would like him not to come in until roughly the 15th over. That is in the air, maybe a chance. Britsky misreads it, and it'll take a couple of bounces over the boundary rope for a 4. Rahul Jariwala picking up his first boundary of the encounter against the leg spinner Vedant Jain. We had the brief illusion that maybe it was going to be a chance. That one stayed pretty straight. A little on the short side. You see there, Britsky faced up like he was going to try to catch that ball and then winds up over his head. And my mistake actually gets all the way over for 6. Jariwala looking to keep the strike rotating on the next delivery. And that sort of strike rotation, what San Diego did so well earlier today, what they had so much trouble doing yesterday, and certainly one of the things that SoCal Lashing's vice captain and co-owner Abhimanyu Rajab told me was an issue for his side yesterday on this pitch. A little different from what they've been batting on in Van Nuys. Admittedly, somewhat new to just about everybody. But San Diego made some good adjustments. We'll see the other Southern California side, the Lashings, looking to make those adjustments later on today against the Blazers. First, some business to attend to here, though. Third single in a row following the Jadiwala deep ball. 9 so far off Jane in this 12th over, 1 ball left in it. Last delivery, that's on a couple of hops to Devam Srivastava at point. And Ravi Singh will stay put, a dot to finish. And through 12 overs, 66 for 3. The run rate required now up to 9.5 for Silicon Valley Strikers.
What's up, Doug? What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. Fuel your best.
First delivery of the 13th is not going to stay in playable position for the second over in a row. Chad Brietzke briefly thinks he's in it with a chance and watches it fly away for 6. Ravinder Paul Singh. No, correction, that is Rahul Jadiwala with the 6 off that first delivery and nearly doubles the run total against Nisarg Patel so far today. That one scalded through the covers for another single. Looks like they may have credited Ravinder Paul Singh with a run that did not happen, which is why the graphic now thinks that he should have been the one on strike for the 6. I think they fixed it, maybe? Looking better. That one pushed through the same gap on the offside. And a bit of a misfield out in the deep is going to allow a second run to come across. Good start to the over, 9 off it already. That is now the asking rate, roughly. Pulled down to 8.8 by those 9 runs. Patel looking for the comeback. That one into the gloves of Adit Gorawara. 2 left from the over as Silicon Valley finally touched the run a ball mark for the first time in a bit. 76 for 3 here with 2 left. An attempted sweep shot. It's going to be a leg side wide. Worth knowing, I learned this during the 100, that you can be stumped off of one of those still if you drift out of your crease, but Ravi Singh did not. That one pushed to the offside just past Nisarg Patel for another single. 11 so far off the over after Patel had given up just 7 off his first 12 deliveries. Nisarg responsible for taking the wicket of Arsh Butch, LBW, Fernando and Dutta as well with 1 apiece, getting the 2 Sri Lankans. That one's in the air but will not hang for Nikhil Dutta. And another single to end it, so a pricey over here, 12 off it, just what the doctor ordered for Silicon Valley Strikers, as they still need 9 runs per over, 63 off the final 42 deliveries.
गया है लक्ष्मी बासमती राइस को घर लाने का। लक्ष्मी एक्स्ट्रा लॉन्ग बासमती राइस। इसका हर दाना हो इतना लंबा, पकते हुए महके और प्लेट पे क्या खूब खिले।
हाँ, मेरे घर लाने का।
$79 for 3. Silicon Valley Strikers need 9s from here to the finish, and it'll be the man with number 9 on his back entering the attack here from the Barrett Avenue end. Abhinay Reddy, the right arm pacer, took the wicket of CP Rizwan on his MILC debut yesterday was a little on the pricey side. 26 runs off of his 3 overs,
In the game here.
inflating that 6.47 economy that he entered the day with. With the death overs approaching, if he looks like he's on point, he's somebody who can be useful to start knocking over some of your later batters, but he can also cost you a little bit. That ball in the air, and it's going to find some green grass in between the man in the circle and the man in the offside in the covers. Or correction, in the mid-wicket area. No, I was right the first time. Doubting myself here. That one gets a nice little bit of extra bounce. Cramps up Ravinder Pal Singh. Singh, somebody who strikers are going to expect a little bit of acceleration from. 147 his strike rate in international play with Canada in his 24 T20Is. That is going to sneak by a diving Devam Srivastava at backward point. Makes it all the way to the boundary for a 4. Big pressure release here for the Silicon Valley Strikers as they continue to try to make inroads. This one a bit on the wide side and also a bit on the short side. You could see Ravi Singh having the time to judge the new trajectory. I had a great discussion with Nate Hayes back in Morrisville during MLC about what makes a good length ball for those that are still new to the sport, as that one is spanked right back past the bowler. Diving attempt by the fielder at long on, but he will not be able to get there. Long off, rather, Nikhil Dutta. Back-to-back 4s here. This one an authentic half volley. So those two just a great case study in what makes a good length. And in this case, what makes a bad one here. And an opportunity for a run out, a mix-up at the other end, and Rahul Jadiwala is done. Ravi Singh wanted to take that quick single for a moment, changed his mind quicker than Rahul Jadiwala could change his trajectory. And the run out back at the non-striker's end. And that could be a monster of a turning point in this match. Abhinay Reddy had given up a pair of 4s, had the good comeback ball, decent length on this one after a couple of pace-off deliveries, and you can see Jadiwala a good 3/4 of the way to the other side. And at this point, it's just a matter of maintaining your head and completing the run out. The throw to Greg Hay, he knocks off the bails, and no problem there. Abhinay Reddy used to seeing his fielding brilliance when he's out on the exterior of the field, but there, a little bit of fielding off his own bowling and taking advantage of the mix-up. That's going to mean Gary Graham into the action just a little bit before the death overs get underway. We'll see if that ends up meaning a change in the plan of attack here. Left arm spin, though. Nisarg Patel has 1 over left at this point. He might be somebody to bring in against a Gary Graham. He has struggled against lefties, whether they are pacers or spinners. That one worked here. It'll continue to be an expensive over. Might have 2 available, but Gary Graham turns down the second. Ravinder Pal Singh with a single, or rather Gary Graham with a single to finish the over, and he'll retain the strike. 89 for 4 with 6 overs remaining. 53 needed off the final 36 balls. But we'll finish up here as we keep the chat going. Just talking a bit about what makes a good length ball versus a short ball versus a half volley. And it's one of those things that if you're a baseball fan getting into cricket, it doesn't necessarily have a parallel in pitching, because obviously pitchers are never interested in trying to bounce the ball in. Literally only Vlad Guerrero ever hits a ball like that. And by the way, that's senior and junior for that one. But the best parallel that we talked about together is dealing with ground balls. The idea of an infielder moving their feet to try to avoid what we call the in-between hop. And a good length ball is an in-between hop, if you're new to this here. And you'll watch sometimes if a bowler is hitting that length consistently, you'll see the batter move either a little bit back in their crease or come forward and risk the potential stumping to try to turn it into either a long true hop, like we saw in the first 4 that was hit by Ravinder Pal Singh, or something a little more along the lines of a short hop, the one where you put your glove down and just have it snap into your glove, which is what we saw on the second of those 4 for Ravinder Pal Singh. He remains on strike. My mistake. I've gotten so used to the wickets being taken at the striker's end. He was the one with a single on the final ball of the 14th over. And so as Nikhil Dutta resumes attacking from the San Pedro end, it'll be Ravinder Pal Singh that he faces, and he gets a pair of dots here. And each of those from this point forward are gold, with the run rate rapidly climbing. Pranay Suri and Colin Archibald still available out of the pavilion for Silicon Valley Strikers as Ravinder Pal Singh slaps that one over to the square leg region, picks up a single, and will get Gary Graham on strike. We may end up with a power on power sort of matchup in a little bit. Gary Graham, both last season and this season, absolutely murdering right arm pacers, but it's very close to Guy and Fernando time. If he can stay on here against the mystery off spinner Nikhil Dutta, he'll get a chance to do a little damage later against Fernando. A little bit of a late pickup on the decision to take the quick single, but Ravinder Pal was off like a shot from the non-striker's end. Gary will take it, and he is underway with a single. Graham last year the 6th best strike rate in minor league cricket among batters that got at least 50 runs to take a second, but Gary Graham, no interest in that. And that is going to do it for the 15th over. Middle overs complete as we hit the death frames. 49 needed, very nearly 10 runs per over for the final 5. Silicon Valley at 93 for 4.
Took that last corner pretty quick.
Sir, I need one hand on the roof, one hand on the pump.
Timeout for Sunoco Go rewards.
Keep pumping.
With new Sunoco Go rewards, when you fuel, you save because rewards come first.
4 runs in that one? 49 and 5.
Silicon Valley 93 for 4, and here comes that strength on strength matchup that we talked about in the last over. Guy and Fernando back into the attack for the death overs. Gary Graham at the crease. He had a 200 strike rate last season against right arm pace, and it was not a small sample size. Showed a little of what he could do the last weekend of games for Silicon Valley back in the middle of August. Takes a big hoik at that one. In that game, he hit a 6 that I went back and measured using Google Maps because I saw where it landed back on Imperial Avenue down the alley. And connecting the two to each other, Graham hit that one, as you can see. That's what he was thinking about on this one, but it sneaks by him. He hit that one a good 109 meters, according to Google Maps, going from the crease at the Sahadeo Pavilion end all the way to Imperial Ave. It was majestic. It had that Otani sound to it. That kind of bat crack that you want to use as your alarm to wake you up in the morning on your cell phone. Looking for one here. That is in the air, but did not get all of it. It'll just be a single. Good work out there in the deep. Abene ready. Who else? Cutting it off before it could become 4 runs. Just 1. Required run rate now over 10s. Have to believe either Pranay Suri or Colin Archibald would be the next man out of the shed for Silicon Valley if either of these two lose their wicket. Suri has hit almost nothing but boundaries this season, but has not stuck around long enough for a big total yet. Big hoik by Ravinderpal Singh, but doesn't get anything on it. Another dot. Again, gold here from Guyan Fernando. He went for 3 in his first over and took the early wicket of Lahiri Milanta. And he was tagged for 11 in his second. This one looking a lot more like the first so far, halfway through it. Another chance at a stumping. Looks like the umpire here at this side, Pankaj Chowdhury, just over to help put the bails back in place. Adit says, I've got it. I made the mess, I'll clean it up. Ravinderpal Singh able to keep his back foot down. Silicon Valley have gone at exactly a run a ball through the first 94 deliveries. They need to up it to nearly 2 runs a ball now. 11's the asking rate. Attempted Yorker turns into a full toss, but Singh not able to time it properly. Fernando has not made extensive use of the off-pace delivery, but he has made very shrewd use of it. It doesn't always quite come out of the hand right. Sometimes the length is missed by a good bit, but the deception is the name of the game there. Final ball of the 16th coming up. Singh hits that one to the onside, but there is protection out there in the deep. They'll just take the single. Singh will retain strike for the first delivery, but just 2 off the 16th for Guyan Fernando. Silicon Valley 95 for 4, needing nearly 2 runs a ball from here to the finish. Gary Graham has got a task in front of him here, as he is currently in conversation with the umpires. I believe he wanted to stick with just wearing the baseball cap, with which a lot of West Indian players in particular like to do against spin. Perhaps a conversation about exactly what was going to be coming from the other end. If it is Abene ready, no, Nisarg Patel, I can see he wanted to go with just the cap. But apparently that request has been turned down, as Nisarg Patel will continue. Barely over a run a ball, and the wicket of Arsh Butch in his first 3 overs. Silicon Valley now needing 47 off 24. Here's the first delivery from number 24. Shot thrown very early by Ravinderpal Singh, going well down leg, so no danger of LBW there. See that there? It did straighten a bit off the surface, but I think it even pitched outside leg. That one may have been behind Ravinderpal Singh. We'll see if he got any bat on it. They'll take a run. And it is a wide. So they'll take 2 runs. And now put Gary Graham on strike against the lefty spinner, Nisarg Patel. Looking for the big hit, but he just manages to smash it back through the box. They'll look to take 2. Direct hit might have had them in trouble, but it bounces just over the bails here. Great throw from Nikhil Dutta. here at long off. Got his Canadian international teammate Hamza Tarek of the East Bay Blazers camped out behind him there as Graham goes for the big shot. He's going to kick back behind him. It is leg byes, so apparently the ball not angled properly to have gone on to hit the stumps, according to Pankaj Chowdhury. We'll be the judge of that ourselves on this one. Now, definitely going down leg. Impact may have even been outside leg stump that time there. Ravinderpal Singh looking to accelerate here. He'll push that one to long off. Gary Graham running back. The throw is back down to the keeper's end. Waiting on the signal, but it is not forthcoming. Adit Gorawada thought he had something there. Another fantastic throw from the deep. This time Chad Britsky, the one that was up with it. We'll see. They were struggling. Ravinderpal Singh definitely grounded. Oh, that is so close. The near direct hit on the prior delivery. On the throw from Nikhil Dutta, and then that one, bang, bang, at the wicket keeper's end. It's all happening here. Runs coming at a pace. This one lifted and will split the two fielders on the onside, but brilliant work out there at the boundary. As the ball is chased down by Burhan Barmal, he is not batted or bowled today, but he has absolutely made his contribution in the field. Short-handed out there at the boundary rope. Another 2 runs across. Ravinderpal Singh putting his hand up, looking to push the pace of this run chase. He'll work that one fine of the man at third man, Sri Krishna Anantaraju. A lot of work to do to get to it. Loses the grip, but does keep it from reaching the boundary rope. Needs a couple bites at the apple to secure it. Another 2 runs. And it is, again, 2 runs a ball necessary, 36 off 18, as Silicon Valley reach 106 for 4. And we'll see here the boundary check, at least on our end. Third umpire has no access to this. But it does appear that Sri Krishna does manage to finally pick it up there. Third opportunity. That's the sort of stuff that happens in my nightmares when I think about playing cricket. At any rate, 106 for 4, 18 balls left, 36 needed. $20 balls now without a boundary since Gary Graham came to the crease. That after the pair of 4s and then the wicket taken back in the 14th over by Abhinay Reddy. Abhinay Reddy claiming via run out the wicket of Rahul Jariwala. Doesn't get credit for it in the bowling column. It's now Guyan Fernando back in. Gary Graham trying to tag him, but doesn't get much of anything on that first delivery. Looks like it has been given, though, as a wide. Fernando trying to keep it out of the arc of the ever-dangerous 41-year-old Jamaican. Free runs, not something you want to be giving away at this point in the innings. .35 needed off 18 now for Silicon Valley to pick up win number 6 and a playoff berth. That one smacked to the man at long on, and it's going to get underneath Burhan Barmal. We were just singing his praises. First foot he's put wrong in the field, and it's going to break that boundary drought after 21 deliveries. Like water in the desert right now for Silicon Valley strikers. We'll see if that liberates Gary just a little bit here. This one rolling on the ground, and we had talked about how there didn't seem to be many demons in the pitch. That looks like it hit a soft spot in the grass and is right through the wickets. Fernando steaming in for the next delivery. That is lifted. Possibility of a catch. And it's a boundary relay, and it's taken by San Diego! Gary Graham dismissed in spectacular fashion. Abene ready, get ready for another appearance on the minor league cricket plays of the week. That was spicier than Lakshmi, my goodness. At full stretch, a ball that may well have found its way over the boundary rope, if not for the outstretched hand of Abene Reddy. Let's get another look at this. Graham trying for that first maximum. Camera unfortunately not cooperating focus-wise for us there. We'll see if we've got a better angle of it. But you saw Reddy, at least on the first angle, reaching out and snagging that ball, threw it back into play for the relay catch. Of course, the frustrating thing about that is that Reddy does all the work, and it's Greg Hay that gets credit for it in the scorebook, but we were here. We know what happened. Absolute defensive plus for this San Diego Surf Riders team, and we'll try to stick with this angle here. There's the initial snag. Takes a step, unloads it just before he crashes to the ground with the backhand. And Greg Hay, snag, watch the feet, start running the other way, and you can see their Southern California brethren celebrating behind them. Lashings unable to take a few early catches yesterday. May have had a very different feel to that game against Silicon Valley had they stuck. San Diego has been phenomenal in the field today. It was the Nelson, 111 for 4 when Gary Graham lifted that ball to the outfield, and it's going to be Colin Archibald coming in at 7. Archibald last year a 186 strike rate at the death and a high score of 39. His work with the bat as well as some decent bowling for Morrisville Raptors last year earned him a West Indies A call-up. But he has had just the one innings this season since coming aboard with the men in two-tone blue. 18 off 21 against the Golden State Grizzlies. That as part of a 39-run partnership with Gary Graham. But Graham back in the shed. It's going to be Ravinder Paul Singh that he works with here. Singh now the high scorer on the day for Silicon Valley. Although it shows you how well San Diego batted, that places him 5th on the day overall. San Diego with a 40, a 36, a 30, and a 29. Colin Archibald pulls out, and Guy Fernando forced to arrest his run-up. 31 now needed off the remaining 16 deliveries. First ball to Archibald. Goes for the pace-off Yorker, and that is just outside the grasp of Guy Fernando. They'll look to take a second. Now Archibald's got to turn around. It's a direct hit, and that will give them the chance to take the second run as the ball pings off the stumps far enough to allow them to scamper. Run-out opportunities and missed run-out opportunities. By the way, that I believe is the 3rd direct hit today for San Diego Surf Riders. None of them has yet yielded a wicket. As we'll see here, it was a initial desire for Archibald to retain the strike and get back for that second run. He turned back. That one is hoiked just behind Adit Gorawada behind the stumps. Burhan Barmal out to grab it. That'll just be a single here. 2 balls left in the over. missed run-out opportunities, the story of how Silicon Valley managed to get across the line 3 weeks ago in Davis against Golden State Grizzlies, and that a result that changed an awful lot about our standings. The following week, we would see East Bay Blazers win a game on a final ball 6. Seattle would turn around and lose 2 more on final ball action. We've had some really pulsating finishes, and in a 10-match season can change a lot. Ravinder Pal Singh looking to split a gap, but there is protection in the deep. Chad Brietzke throwing it back in, another chance, but the throw's gone to the wrong end. Archibald wanting that second run. Knows that the run rate required is beginning to balloon, 27 off 13 now. Had the throw been down to the keeper's end, might have had a chance at Colin, as he had strayed about 10 feet down the pitch in search of another run. He will face the final delivery of Fernando's spell. 2 wickets for 25. What does the last ball have in store? Pace off, full toss, guided to the wide man at long off, and it's another misfield in that same spot. This time Vedant Jain bamboozled by what appeared to be a bit of a lateral bounce at the very end, and that is a big 4 for the Silicon Valley Strikers. First boundary stroke for Archibald, and we'll see if we can spot what happened here. Was it just footwork? A little bit of a lateral bounce there. Jain just not able to get the hands down and get his body behind it. We'll take a quick break here. 119 for 5, 2 overs to go. .119 for 5 for Silicon Valley Strikers. San Diego batted admirably. They came up with a big finish at the end of their first innings and set an interesting target here. They went 14, 15, and 8 off the last 3 overs. So far, Silicon Valley 11 off Nisarg Patel and 13 off Guyan Fernando. They're going to need more like it. They need another 23 off the last 12. They want a second. Again, Archibald has come about a third of the way down the pitch in search of it, but it will be a single to start, as Nikhil Dutta will bowl his final over of the piece. So far, Dutta very economical. 3 off of his first, 5 and a wicket off of his second, and 4 off of his third over of work. 1 so far here. Back to exactly 2 runs a ball, 22 needed off 11. We mentioned at the start of today's action, San Diego, the one team in action today that can't really do much in the way of playoff qualification, but they are not playing like there's nothing on the line. Very late shot there, but Colin Archibald manages to get something to it. Throw is down to the keeper's end for not the first time. Arif Godawara up, hoping for some grace from the umpire at that side, Sundaram Subramanian. No dice, though. 2 runs added to Colin Archibald's total. And they continue to lop off exactly what's necessary, 20 off 10 now. That one is airborne. Drifting over to it and diving for it is Abane Reddy, but unable to secure it this time around. A big 4 here for Colin Archibald. You start to just expect the spectacular whenever Abane gets himself anywhere near a ball. Good work, though, by Archibald to give himself some room. The ball targeting off stump. Reddy at full extension, but cannot corral that one. Striding forward on the pitch, this is another deep ball, another one that Brietzke briefly thinks he's in play for, but it's a 6 from Colin Archibald. They needed 20 off 10. They've knocked off half of it in the next 2 balls. It's now 10 off 8. Silicon Valley securely now in front of the game. Still work to be done. Archibald looks to rotate strike here. This one worked along the infield. It'll be a single. 9 now needed off of 7. Last ball to come here for Nikhil Dutta. And we will remind you here, this is, we'll remind you at the start of the next over what the situation was 3 weeks ago up in Davis. As Ravinder Pal Singh faces this delivery. Doesn't get much on it, but it will be enough to take a single. The 4 and the 6 from Colin Archibald, huge for Silicon Valley strikers. 20 off 7 for him so far. And they have left their team needing just 8 runs from the final over to claim victory and a playoff spot for the 3rd year running. So we'll remind you of what the situation was going into the 20th over in Davis 3 weeks ago. Silicon Valley, generally speaking, have needed one of those really big partnerships, or they've needed a monster day from Lahira Milantha, or both, to get home. The one time they've won a game that didn't have one of those features to it was in Davis against Golden State. They came into the 20th over seemingly having gotten it done. Needed just 4 runs off of it, but Harish Kakani was bowling out of his head that day. Managed to take it all the way down to needing 2 off the final delivery, having given up just a leg bye and a bye off the first 5. He had nearly run out Colin Archibald on the penultimate ball as he underhanded it towards the stumps. That was the bye that had gotten them within a run of Golden State's total. But on the final delivery, it was a swing and a miss from Gary Graham. The ball hit the gloves of Anthony Bramble. He tried to throw out, or to run out, the man at the wicket-keeper's end, Colin Archibald. Missed the target. Harish Kakani, good on the backup. He snagged the ball. Had a chance to run out Colin Archibald, particularly because he and Graham nearly collided with each other. Or excuse me, had a chance to run out Gary Graham, rather, at the non-striker's end. He would miss the target as well. That leveled the scores, and with a chance to force a super over with a run out, the return throw may have been late, but most crucially was fumbled by Sammy Aslam. He did manage to guide it onto the stumps, but not in a secure, quick fashion, and as a result, Silicon Valley somehow got across the line, and that's the reason that today they could clinch a playoff berth with 8 more runs. Abhinay Reddy gets the ball. Swing and a miss from Ravinder Pal Singh. 8 off 5 now. Singh has put his hand up on a day when most of his teammates have not fired with bat in hand. 30 for him off 29, a pair of 4s. Here's the second ball. That is lifted into the gap on the onside. That is going to go all the way for 6. Ravinder Pal Singh has got the Silicon Valley strikers within a run of San Diego's total. And they have got 4 balls to get them. 1 to draw level, 1 to win. 36 now on the day for Ravi. His top score ever here in minor league cricket, and only 4 runs shy of the best score today. That was Adit Godawara. He and Sri Krishna Anantaraju put on a 65-run partnership to make this defendable. Singh scorches that one. Should be 1. Can it be 2? They're coming back for it. Throw is going to the non-striker's end, and that is all she wrote. 2 more runs, 38 for Ravinder Pal Singh. And the Silicon Valley strikers have gotten it done by 5 wickets here in Morgan Hill. Finally, a photo finish, a last over finish here for us after a pair of blowouts in yesterday's action. Boy, oh boy. Looked for a good chunk of the piece like San Diego was going to get it done. Last season for Silicon Valley, when they went all the way to Morrisville for the Pacific Conference semifinal as they looked to defend their 2021 title, it was that whole different guy every time out sort of ethos. Today, it's that 31 runs off 13 deliveries partnership authored by Colin Archibald and Ravinder Pal Singh. When Colin Archibald entered, it was looking pretty desperate after that spectacular boundary relay catch authored by Reddy and Hay. Reddy and Hay would combine as well for a run out earlier there of Jadiwala, but you see a bunch of 20-run scores, but nothing big until Ravinder Pal Singh got himself going here at the end. And it again was that big partnership with Colin Archibald to get them over the line. Quite the cameo from Archibald as well. 10 of his 20 runs coming courtesy of a pair of back-to-back boundaries that pulled this game back firmly in favor of the Strikers. We'll take a look at the bowling efforts as well from the San Diego Surf Riders. Not to be dismissed by any stretch of the imagination. By and large, able to keep it at roughly a run a ball across the board. Just didn't quite take enough wickets to really eat into the tail of the Silicon Valley lineup. The last couple batters finally getting it done for them. They did have Pranay Suri still back available, but 2 more wickets for the leading wicket taker in minor league cricket, Guyan Fernando, 1 each for Dutta and Nisarg Patel, and 1 run out amidst a slew of balls that hit the stumps from the outfield. It was actually the little bunt that led to the only run out that was taken there by Reddy off of his own bowling. And so we'll take a look at these second innings highlights. Just a spectacular second innings, a great run chase full of all sorts of twists and turns. It was Lahira Milantha losing his wicket early here, that coming off the bowling of Guyan Fernando, and one of a couple catches from Abhinay Reddy, who had himself a day in the field. Shahan Jayasuriya trying to get himself underway. He had 2 fours on the day en route to 22 runs off 20. The other bit of a shout right here off the bowling of Devam Srivastava. Thought they had Shahan Jayasuriya LBW inside the power play. It seemed every time they had a shout at a wicket, the very next delivery was put away for a boundary by Silicon Valley Strikers. 6 fours for them on the day and 5 sixes. Shahan, though, wouldn't be able to express himself fully. Nikhil Dutta with a ball that stayed down on him, an arm ball targeting the base of off stump, and that would be all she wrote for Shahan. Arsh Butch, meanwhile, dismissed LBW. It's been a bit of an issue for him, but a decent contribution. The 18 off 26 and the first long ball of the day for the 28-year-old from San Jose. Rahul Jadiwala, speaking of long balls, announced his intentions pretty early. He had 2 of the 5 for the Silicon Valley Strikers today. Ravinder Pal Singh getting in there after the wicket was taken of Arsh Butch, and he would stick around for quite a while. A 4 there. One of his only boundaries in the early piece. This one scorched and just beating the man at long off to the boundary, Nikhil Dutta. A lot of work to do there. This one here, a bit of a shout initially for LBW, and then looking to take a quick single. The 2 runners, Jadiwala and Ravinder Pal Singh, not on the same page, and the run out taken care of there. Gary Graham would enter the piece. He would finally get himself a boundary on this one that got through Burhan Barmal at long on. But moments later, he would fall victim to one of the plays of the day, as this one was floated to the outfield. Abhinay Reddy, he was able to maintain focus even if the camera couldn't quite do so. Flips that one to Greg Hay for a spectacular relay catch, and at that point, we thought maybe it was going to be San Diego's day. 111 for 5 at that point, still sitting a good 31 runs shy of the target, and time disappearing. Another ball, though, that would take a funky hop and trick a boundary fielder there, and that was an important 4 off Nikhil Dutta. Colin Archibald nearly caught by Abhinay Reddy, who looked to complete a spectacular day out there on the field. But that 4 was big. This 6 was bigger, clearing Chad Brietzke at the boundary at long off, and a pair of offside boundary shots by Colin Archibald made it 10 needed off 8. Coming in with 8 still needed off the final over. It had gotten down to 8 off 5 when Ravinder Pal Singh hit this double right here. He had a 6 earlier on, but these 2 runs, the ones that won the game for Silicon Valley Strikers, 3 balls to spare, and with 5 wickets in hand, they get it done. They move to 6-2 now on the 2023 Sunoco Minor League Cricket presented by Lakshmi House of Spices season. And with that, they are guaranteed of a playoff berth. They will head, at the very least, to the opportunity to host a game here. They go for the time being top of the table, but East Bay Blazers will have a little something to say about that. Importantly for Silicon Valley, it does mean they will head to next week's 2 encounters with East Bay, at worst, one game behind them, and with an opportunity to claim the top spot for themselves with a pair of victories over their rivals. And those games between East Bay and Silicon Valley, as of late, have been extraordinary. So already, go put a Google Calendar alert in for Saturday and Sunday next week when those teams take each other on. San Diego, for their part, finished the year at 3-7. We've got 1 game left here from Morgan Hill this weekend, and it's going to be a heck of a game there between number 2 and number 3 now in the division. East Bay Blazers looking to keep pace and reclaim the top spot for themselves against over the top of Silicon Valley. SoCal Lashings needing a victory. If they go to 5-5, there's a realistic scenario next weekend that puts them into the playoffs. They would need Golden State to lose to East Bay, and they would need Golden State and Seattle to split their pair. They would both finish at 4-6, and that would get the job done. But first and foremost, the Lashings need to do what no Southern California team has ever done here in 15 attempts at Morgan Hill Outdoor Sports Complex, and that is knock somebody off, pick up a victory. 0-15 so far, these 2 clubs at this ground. But records are made to be broken. Streaks are made to be broken. And we should have an absolute cracker on our hands here in about a half hour's time. We hope you'll join us for that. Until then, for Eric and Rafa on the camera work, for Vishal Tiku at the controls, I'm Joe Hickey, wishing you a lovely little 30-minute break from the cricket before we try and get your heart racing again. See you soon.
You're watching the Sunoco Minor League Cricket Championship, brought to you by our 2023 partners.